Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Board Meeting, Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners for September 12th, 2023. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Barnett.
Here.
Commissioner Baxter.
Here.
Commissioner Bernard.
Here.
Commissioner Marino. Vice Mayor Sachs.
Here.
Mayor Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
All right. Thank you. And for our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, we will be led by Commissioner Mac Bernard. If you're able to, please rise.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This morning, I would like to request a moment of silence for the victims and families of 9/11 and the 343 firefighters that lost their lives to 9/11, and also to the families and the shootings that took place in Jacksonville. Thank you. Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are there any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Yes, Mayor, Vice
To our
Mayor,
agenda,
members of the
sorry.
board. Just slight cleanup. On page 9, 3B2, revised motion and title. Page 41, 3P2, dollar change. Page 42, 3P3, a dollar change. And on page 47, 4E, there's a substitution in proclamation from District 1 to District 3. That concludes the additions, deletions, and substitutions.
Okay, I'd also like to request under item 4, special presentations, we reorder moving first item D to below item I, and then item A to go beneath item D. All right, with that, do we have a motion for the amended agenda? We have a motion by Commissioner Barnett. We have a second by the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed. That motion carries 6-0. Okay. So moving on, we will move into our consent agenda. Would any commissioners like to pull any items from consent?
Yes, Mayor.
You are recognized, Commissioner Baxter.
I lost my page. So
That's okay.
I could have 1 second.
Take your time.
This page. Virginia, would you help me out, please?
It's the Glades item.
Yes, it's for the Glades.
It is on page 33, 3H10.
33. 33, 3H10. Okay. Okay. All right. So with that, moving on, consent, is there any other items that anybody would like to pull? Okay, seeing none. All right, with that, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, less item 3H10 found on page 33? We have a motion by the Vice Mayor, a second by Commissioner Woodward. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed. That motion carries 6-0. Okay. Now, moving on to item 3H10, would you like to have a presentation, Commissioner?
That would be great.
Okay.
Good morning, Mayor,
Good morning.
Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Isami Ajala, Director of Facilities Development and Operations. With me today is Mike Jones, Chief Assistant County Attorney. Item number 3H10 recommends a motion to approve supplement number 2 to Consultant Services Authorization number 13 to the continuing consulting services design professional services contract with Colomé and Associates in a credit amount of $151,110.25 for the Palm Beach County, West County Administration South Wind Building Renovations Project. Back in December of 2019, the board approved the contract with the consultant, Colomé and Associates. Supplement number 1 to CSA number 13, authorized professional design services, permitting, bidding assistance, and construction administration phase services for the first and second floor of the South Wind Building renovations at the West County Administration Building. After completion of the building assessment, survey, and conceptual design services phases of the project, the consultant was instructed by staff to cease work at on the project because we have come to realize that the estimate for the construction cost of the project exceeded $4 million. At that point, we could not continue to use the continuing contract that Colomé has with the county. And as a result, we are in the process of procuring what we call a project-specific contract for design services. Therefore, this recommended supplement provides the county a credit for the services that have not been provided as of today by the consultant.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Simi, thank you. So what is the plan moving forward, and what would be the estimated time to have that facility completed then?
We are actually in the process, actively in the process of procuring design services. We received proposals about a month ago. We have the shortlist scheduled for October 2nd of this year, and then final selection scheduled for October 26th. Once we complete a selection, the selection committee recommends a firm for award. That contract will come back to the board. We expect that the board, if it finds it sufficient, will approve the contract. And at that point, we will re-engage in the design services. So we're talking about year for design, and then depending on the scope, at this point, without a design, my estimate will be year and a half for completion, construction.
And this, what they were doing now, is currently already in design, or is that the next step?
It was. We had started design with a condition assessment. As we all know, prices have escalated significantly. So when we engaged with Colomé and Associates, we had an estimate that showed that the project was going to be under $4 million. With the escalation, we have now gone over, and that has precluded us from continuing to use the continuing contract. And sorry for being redundant.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion on item 3H10?
So moved. I
We
move
have-
to approve.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Baxter on item 3H10 to approve, and we have a second from the Vice Mayor. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed, this motion also carries 6-0. Okay, so we are going to be moving into special presentations, which is always I have to say, it is fun. It's fun. It's certainly fun for us. So as we get started, I do want to recognize we have a couple of folks here. I take a point of personal privilege. Commissioner Shalonda Warren from the City of West Palm Beach is with us in chambers this morning. And I also saw Commissioner Susie Diaz from the City of Green Acres has joined us this morning, so thank you both for being here. All right, moving on. So we will start with Proclamation B, that is recognizing the 11th anniversary of the Education Initiative, and then I'll follow up with National Recovery Month.
Good morning. Thank you. If Nicholas Metropolis could please come up. Thank you very much. I had the pleasure of getting to tour your facility recently. You've moved in this year, so it's my pleasure to be able to do this proclamation. So, we are recognizing the 11th anniversary of Marine Education Initiative. Whereas since opening its doors in September 25th, 2012, as Fishing for Families in Need, Marine Education Initiative has grown from having 5 students in its first educational program to educating thousands of students per year and providing hundreds of thousands of meals throughout Palm Beach County. And whereas Marine Education Initiative was established in 2012 when its founders saw a need in Palm Beach County for more immersive environmental education programs, which are now key resources for STEM education and sustainable food security in Palm Beach County. And whereas Marine Education Initiative's mission includes driving conservation through education by empowering students in the community with the knowledge of ocean conservation through hands-on experiences in aquaponics. Simultaneously, the organization aims to contribute to the community by donating fresh produce and fostering a sustainable cycle of learning and giving. And whereas Marine Education Initiative is celebrating its 11th anniversary of educating students and sustainably fighting food insecurity in Palm Beach County, the Palm Beach County Board of Commissioners celebrates and values the legacy of achievements of Marine Education Initiative and its vital role as a contributor to STEM education programs and sustainable food security and a driver of environmental education for Palm Beach County. Therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners that today, on this 12th day of September 2023, we are recognizing the 11th anniversary of Marine Education Initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Woodward. Well, I'm extremely grateful to be here and honored by the Board of County Commissioners. Marine Education Initiative began actually as Fishing for Families in Need, and our main goal was to use fishing as a way, use the sport of fishing as a way to educate students about marine conservation. Now, fast forward, we changed our name to Marine Education Initiative and opened our mission to more broad related marine topics, including nutrient pollution. Now at our new aquaponics center located in Delray Beach, Florida, we built a vertical farm where we're educating local students about marine conservation, nutrient pollution, but also providing fresh produce to various soup kitchens throughout Palm Beach County. So again, thank you all so much. Very happy to be here. And if you are interested in having a tour of the facility, more than happy to accommodate that. So thank you all again so much.
While they're taking their picture, I'd like to ask James Green from Community Services and your team of folks that are here to join me. So I have the honor of presenting the proclamation. We are declaring September 2023 as National Recovery Month. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of health and overall wellness, and whereas this year's National Recovery Month theme, recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, and every community, reminds us of people in recovery and those who support them that recovery belongs to all of us. We welcome everyone to recovery by lowering barriers to support, creating inclusive spaces and programs, and broadening our understanding of what recovery means for people with different experiences. And preventing and overcoming mental and substance use disorders is essential in achieving healthy lifestyles, both physically and emotionally. Whereas we must encourage relatives and friends and people with mental and substance use disorders to implement preventative measures, recognize the signs of a problem, and guide those in need to appropriate treatment and recovery support services. And whereas the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners is leading efforts to establish a person-centered, recovery-oriented system of care with partners throughout the county to help people achieve recovery and improve quality of care as well as long-term recovery outcomes. And whereas numerous community members, strategic partners, and allied organizations have made important contributions to improving health and wellness of Palm Beach County residents, and whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, all residents are invited to participate in National Recovery Month and are urged to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's theme. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners, Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 12th day of September 2023, that September 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed National Recovery Month. I just want to say, I don't imagine anybody sitting in this room has not personally been impacted for the need of recovery, of people dealing with substance or mental health disorders. It's something that affects so many people in our community, in our country, but we have to destigmatize and make it, not only make it okay to reach out for help, but encourage people that it's the right thing to do. So I'm really pleased to present this proclamation. Thank you, James, to you and your team for leading this effort for Palm Beach County. And I'm sure you have a few words for us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Mayor, Commissioners. Recovery Awareness Month is an immensely significant time dedicated to shedding light on the importance of recovery from addiction and mental health disorders. This observance serves as a reminder that recovery is not only possible, but also worthy of celebration and support. The impact of addiction and mental health disorders on individuals, families, and communities cannot be understated. They not only cause immense personal suffering, but also have a ripple effect that extends to relationships, workplaces, and society as a whole. So Recovery Awareness Month provides an opportunity to address the stigma and the misconceptions surrounding these issues and promote understanding, empathy, and effective support systems. And so we are excited about the work that's taking place in Palm Beach County on September the 14th. We are really excited about the extension of our recovery community centers into the Lake Worth Beach area. We are also excited about our annual Facing the Crisis event that will take place in Riviera Beach on September the 26th, where we'll have the opportunity to really engage the broader community around these issues, get their input, and continue our work to make sure that individuals in need can get the help that they need and deserve. And so thank you very much for this proclamation.
Thank you. Congratulations. Who's up next? Who's up next? Well, it should be on. It should go.
Who's going to do? Good, okay. She's like our teacher, third grade.
Good morning, everyone.
District 4.
I am honored to present the proclamation declaring September 23rd as Palm Beach County Senior Center Month. And I would like to invite Dr. James Green, Taruna Malhorta, and senior services staff. Morning. You too. I should have just told you to stay there. I would have come to you.
Yes. Yeah.
A proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida. Whereas each September, the Palm Beach County Community Services Department's Division of Senior and Veteran Services celebrates National Senior Center Month as an opportunity to showcase senior center programs, services, and activities. And whereas this year's theme is Senior Centers, Discover Yours. Every senior center is unique, and this Senior Center Month, residents are encouraged to see what their local center offers so they can discover their unique path to aging well. And whereas the Division of Senior and Veteran Services operates senior centers in Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, and Belle Glade, serving as a focal point for the provision of services and improving the quality of life for older adults throughout Palm Beach County. And whereas Discover Yours encourages self-discovery and taking an active role in exploring new activities, hobbies, and experiences, and emphasizes that it is never too late to try something new. Senior centers provide older adults a variety of innovative programs and activities, including a breakfast and lunch program that can help them stay healthy, active, and engaged. And whereas senior centers have demonstrated to be integral parts of health and well-being of Palm Beach County senior residents and the future of aging. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 12th day of September 2023, that September 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Palm Beach County Senior Center Month.
Good morning. I'm Amy Blackman. I'm the Recreation Programs Coordinator for the Senior Centers, and I am very pleased to be here. I could go on and on about how wonderful this team is, but I promise I will keep it brief. I do want to introduce from North County, Will Belisle, who has been the sole individual up there with recreation programming, and I'm very thrilled to say that he has doubled the programming at that center, and he's also seen a 30% increase in membership, which is absolutely amazing. Tina and Jackie are here from Mid-County Senior Center. They have also seen over a 50% increase in programming, and obviously our membership goes along with that. We are missing Renee. She is at West County, and she is absolutely amazing as well. And they've seen just under a 50% increase, and their membership out there is booming. So I'm very, very pleased with this team. We are celebrating Senior Center Month on the 15th at West County, on the 20th at North County, and on the 27th at Mid-County. That's going to be a day that we're going to really celebrate what we have. We've spent the last year obviously increasing our programming and really talking to our seniors and seeing what they want to enrich their mind, bodies, and spirits. We have everything from coffee and conversation to see what they want to implement, to daily music and daily fitness and bereavement classes. We have everything that the seniors would want. And please, 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 if you have anybody that you know is at home, we know that getting them out and getting them engaged with their peers and out in the community is going to keep them living for years and years longer than they would if they were just in their homes. So I appreciate your time. Have a wonderful day.
From the Palm Beach County Bar Association, would Lourdes Casanova, Phil Hutchinson, please come forward. And Palm Beach County residents, I get a chance to introduce to you my friend, Grassford Smith. This proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, honoring Grassford Smith as president of the Palm Beach County Bar Association. Whereas the Palm Beach County Bar Association was founded in 1922 with the mission to serve its members, foster professionalism, and enhance the public's understanding and awareness of the legal system. The association is very active in providing numerous public service activities and giving back to the community. And whereas Grassford Smith was installed as the 101st president of the Palm Beach County Bar Association on June 3rd, 2023, and is the association's third African American president. And whereas he is the chair of the American Heart Association of Palm Beach County and also chair of the minority partners in the majority law firms division of the National Bar Association. And whereas Grassford Smith also serves on the board of directors of the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County, on the Board of Governors for the Florida State University College of Business, as a trustee of the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County, as immediate past president of the Black Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County, and as general counsel of the Urban League of Palm Beach County, and as a Leadership Florida graduate. And whereas he is a nationally recognized commercial litigator and advisor, and as a litigation partner in Ackerman LLP's West Palm Beach office, and serves as leader of the litigation practice group. And whereas Grassford Smith is admitted to practice law in Florida, New York, Washington, D.C., and the United States Supreme Court. And whereas he has handled a variety of matters, including contractual disputes, shareholder and board of directors disputes, non-competition and trade secret disputes, real estate and construction defects disputes, intellectual property disputes, government enforcement actions, and disciplinary matters for the Florida Bar. And whereas Grassford Smith was previously an equity shareholder with a regional law firm in Florida, becoming the first African American shareholder in the firm's approximate 100-year history. And whereas he is listed in Best Lawyers in America and is AV Permanent rated by Martindale Hubbell, he has received numerous other honors, including 500 Leading Lawyers in America by Law Dragon, Top 500 Business Leaders in Florida by Florida Trend, Florida Super Lawyers, Corporate Executive of the Year by Legacy Magazine, National Black Lawyers Top 100, and South Florida's Most Powerful Black Professionals in Business by Legacy Magazine. And whereas Grassford Smith received his Bachelor of Science in summa cum laude from Florida State University College of Business with a major in Management Information Systems, and his Juris Doctorate as a Dean Scholar from the New York University School of Law, where he served as the founding executive editor of the Journal of Law and Business and received the Vanderbilt Medal at graduation for his outstanding contribution to the law school. And whereas he also holds an executive education certificate from the Harvard University John F. Kennedy School of Government and a business strategy certificate from Cornell University. Whereas Grassford Smith's theme for his year as president of Palm Beach County Bar Association is quality of life is the key to happiness. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 12th day of September 2023 in Palm Beach County, that this board hereby honors Grassford Smith as the president of the Palm Beach County Bar Association.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good morning. Now, my first thought is, where's James Green? I think he should be the one up here. I want to thank, of course, the Board of Commissioners, of course, my friend Matt Bernard, my friend County Administrator Vidinia Baker, for all that you do on behalf of the community here in Palm Beach. Of course, I accept this proclamation with humility, and I do have with me a couple of the great lawyers from the Palm Beach County Bar Association. Phil Hutchinson. Phil, by the way, served on the JNC, the Judicial Nominating Commission, and chaired that commission on behalf of our residents. And also Lourdes Casanova, who is the president of the Hispanic Bar. I think we have some Hispanic folks in the house today. I believe we do. The Palm Beach County Bar is made up of a variety of private, governmental, and public interest lawyers who make up the fabric of this community. In addition to representing Palm Beach County residents in the most pressing matters in the courtrooms and boardrooms, our lawyers have been actively engaged in serving the public and volunteering thousands of hours. And I want to give you a few examples here today. Palm Beach County Bar members, National Adoption Day, raising money to buy books and beers to give to children who participate in National Adoption Day in the main courthouse, and that takes place in November. Toy and donation drives for children in the foster care system. Adopting a School project, donating supplies to underperforming schools every year. We do a No Shave November where we raised over $50,000 last year to help men who are fighting cancer. We raise money for Legal Aid Society, and the Legal Aid Society, as many of you know, perform, I believe, God's work in this community for children in poverty, disabled, veterans programs, et cetera. The Palm Beach Bar has donated hundreds of books and magazines that have benefited local behavioral health facilities. We have participated in Habitat for Housing. We do a Dial a Lawyer program where for 3 days during Law Week, we have lawyers volunteering all day long to answer questions from the community, all day long. And we also operate a lawyer referral service so that when folks have particular needs, they can call up the Palm Beach County Bar and they'll be directed to someone who can provide them assistance. I'm particularly proud of the initiative this year, which is a quality of life is a key to happiness, and that's a theme. And we're focused on issues that impact lawyers, and lawyers have the same ailments that others have here in the community. If you are a public interest lawyer, you are a public defender, you're a prosecutor, frankly, you have a challenge to live in Palm Beach County because of the cost of living. So I'm honored that Commissioner Bernard and County Administrator Baker will be participating in a discussion just 3 days from now, where we'll be looking at these issues to make sure that we don't have talent that leaves our county. So I'm particularly proud of that. So I look forward to opportunities to work with the board and certainly anybody else in the community to make sure that we can make the community a better place. And again, Mac, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Before I come down, I just want to add that, you know, Grassford is a product of Jamaica.
That's right.
And when he came here, he went to our public schools. I believe Congress Middle School.
That's correct.
And also you attended Santa Luce's?
No, my sister attended Santa Lucia. I attended Boyd Anderson High School in Broward County.
All right, so.
But Congress Middle School right here.
All right, so thanks.
All public. Thank you.
I'd hate to go against him in a courtroom, I tell you. He's a sharp guy. Now we're going to focus on Rabbi Barry Silver, if he could come forward. Rabbi, you're going to be over on this side. I know, you want to get a picture. We lawyers, you know. I know. Rabbi Barry, so I want you to stand right there. I know you're a rascal, but right there and just wait. Rabbi Barry Silver is a distinguished figure in Palm Beach County, serving as rabbi, public interest attorney, singer-songwriter, and dedicated activist, and my friend. Whereas Rabbi Silver has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to education and personal growth, graduating with honors from Florida Atlantic University, earning a Juris Doctorate from Nova University, and being a part of the Florida Bar. Whereas Rabbi Silver, who holds the unique distinction of being the only rabbi to have served in the Florida House of Representatives. and was named Most Effective Environmental Legislator by the Sierra Club. And whereas Rabbi Silver has been the spiritual leader of Congregation Lador Vador, where Judaism is treasured, reason is cherished, interfaith harmony abounds, science is honored, and all are welcome. Whereas Rabbi Silver's commitment to justice and equality is exemplified by his recognition as the Outstanding Feminist of the Year by the Palm Beach County chapter of the National Organization of Women, as well as numerous appearances on prominent national and international media outlets, including MSNBC, CNN, Fox, Telemundo, the New York Times, and Al Jazeera. His enduring contributions to society have earned him a place in the who's who of American law. And whereas Rabbi Silver is a visionary leader who founded the Palm Beach County Environmental Coalition, the Interfaith Justice League, and the local chapter of the Temple of Understanding, all dedicated to fostering unity among the world's religions in the spirit of peace and love. Whereas the rabbi founded Cosmic Judaism, a philosophy that harmoniously blends the revelations of science and religion, echoing the inspirations of ancient Jewish prophets and modern luminaries such as Albert Einstein and Carl Sagan. His inspirational approach advocates for rational spirituality, fostering understanding and connection among all people by replacing barriers with bridges. And whereas Rabbi Silver has used the power of music to inspire and educate, crafting original compositions that address politics, social issues, current events, and Judaism, further contributing to the cultural and intellectual tapestry of Palm Beach County and beyond. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 12th day of September 2023, that September 12th, 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Rabbi Barry Silver Day. Congratulations.
Well, I'm extremely humbled by this wonderful honor and proclamation. I thank Commissioner Sachs, who's done so much to protect women's rights and the environment and so many other good causes. I thank the County Commission. I'm humbled and also pleasantly surprised. I've ascended this podium here, challenging this County Commission on many occasions and filed numerous lawsuits. I'm probably the only one who sued the County Commission and had a proclamation named after me at the same time. And I think that's a wonderful tribute to this County Commission. And as we approach the Jewish New Year of Reconciliation, I hope that all of us will reconcile with those that we might have had differences with. And I would also like to invite the county commissioners to work with the people of Palm Beach County who voted to spend $150 million to protect the Ag Reserve, to instead of fighting each other, to work together to protect this vital environmental area, to reduce climate change, to protect fresh fruit and vegetables, to protect our aquifer, to protect our quality of life, to allow for us to be able to enjoy the beauty of nature, which is a religious mandate. I wear this talit because it has fringes, because we should never hesitate to stand on the fringe of society in order to protect the oppressed. I also stand here today, on the day after September 11, when we see how religion has been used for bad purposes, by belief in a personal God who inspires and commands people to hate. That was yesterday. Today, let's start a new day. I ask that Barry Silver Day be used as a day to reconcile with people of all faiths and to reject and repudiate a personal God in my Torah, in any Bible, and instead embrace a creative power that unites all, that transcends all, and that is within all. As a rabbi, I atone on this day for what was done in the name of religion yesterday. Today, let's make it a new day. And on behalf of the people celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, felicidades. Es un placer de estar aquí con ustedes también. Los latinos han contribuido tanto para enriquecer nuestra comunidad. Es un placer de estar aquí con ustedes. Now, if you want to know what to do to honor or to celebrate Barry Silver Day, lead a protest against the government if they are destroying the planet. Throw a frisbee. Hug your children, your grandchildren, your parents. Celebrate this beautiful life. Cherish every day. Don't let another day pass. Don't eat meat today. And give thanks for the 100 trillion cells in our bodies that know what to do without being asked, so that we can see and hear and think and feel and love. I thank you very much, Commissioner Sachs. I thank you for this honor. I pledge to do everything I can to use religion, and I hope you will too, to build bridges of understanding and knock down walls of separation. Yesterday was 9/11. Today is a brand new day. A new day of religion and of reconciliation with our government and our people together. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Commissioner. And for the Tahitians who are here, l'union fait la force. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Can I get a hug? Thank you very much. I love you too. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Would Shalonda Warren, Commissioner Shalonda Warren, Todd Von Laren, Clinton Forbes, my Chief of Staff, Wilnita Emanuel, please come forward, and also folks who are here on behalf of Sickle Cell Awareness Month, please come forward. Clinton Forbes, as you know, I'm always with a white shirt. So this is a break of tradition for me to wear a red shirt to a county commission meeting. But it is truly an honor to present this proclamation declaring September 2023 as the National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Whereas the health and welfare of our residents is a vital state and national concern, and the chronic genetic blood disorder known as sickle cell disease is a serious condition with no known cure. And whereas individuals with sickle cell disease may face a lifetime of battling symptoms such as severe pain, fatigue, frequent infections, and more. And whereas sickle cell disease is typically diagnosed at birth, and its effects can be severe and unpredictable. In the United States, approximately 2,000 babies are born with sickle cell disease each year. And whereas sickle cell disease mainly affects African Americans, but it also appears in other ethnic populations, including persons of Greek, Sicilian, Turkish, Italian, Hispanic, and East Indian ancestry. And whereas the Sickle Cell Foundation of Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast, Inc. is a family-oriented charitable nonprofit organization dedicated to helping all people affected by the extremely serious health problem of sickle cell disease. And whereas the mission of the foundation is to improve the quality of life for persons affected by sickle cell disease and of their families, and to educate the public. And whereas there are approximately 200 youth who suffer from sickle cell disease in Palm Beach County, and approximately 5,700 children in the school system carry the sickle cell trait. Treatment costs vary depending on complexity and frequency, and the average for 1 week of hospitalization is $20,000. And whereas raising awareness of sickle cell disease is essential for fostering better treatments, providing education, and improving outcomes for individuals living with this condition. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 12th day of September 2023, that this month, September 23, in Palm Beach County, is hereby proclaimed National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. You know, Commissioner Bernard is so amazing to me. He's the most poised and composed, compassionate, passionate person that I know. So I don't know how you hold it together to be as poised and eloquent as you are every time you step to bring something forward. But I thank you for everything that is beneath the surface that I know to be there and to be true and real. And as I was sitting here, it's interesting. I was thinking how full my heart is with all of the people that are in this room and the people here that care so much, and how fortunate we all are to be in Palm Beach County, because Palm Beach County is certainly a county that cares. As I looked around the room, there were so many people that we've worked with as an agency through sickle cell that have supported the work that we do. And then there's so many people that I also know personally that really are committed to a much better community, and we stand together. And to see so many people that are acknowledged today, I am very proud and honored to be here this morning representing the Sickle Cell Foundation of Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast. And thank you for all of the words that you said that identify what a devastating disease that sickle cell is. And I just want to say that the Sickle Cell Foundation was started by a young lady named Eva Mack some 50 years ago from her home on Beautiful Street right here in West Palm Beach. And Eva Mack was just like so many of the rest of us that cared so much about this county and the city that we live in, that she dedicated her home to start the Sickle Cell Foundation. And she went on to become one of the first Black commissioners for the city of West Palm Beach, and then again to become the first Black mayor of the city of West Palm Beach. And so to say that I'm inspired by her is truly an understatement, but it is truly a testament to who we are as a county and who we are as a people and how resilient we are, and how often we can come together and do amazing things. The Sickle Cell Foundation has worked to serve those with needs of sickle cell, and we also have grown since our inception to run a program called the Community Voice Program that is focused on Black infant mortality and reducing Black infant mortality throughout Palm Beach County. And our newest program is called Team Dads, where we focus on all fathers who have infant and newborn children up to the age of 3 to equip them with the tools necessary to help them be the best dad that they can be. So I'm very honored to be here and represent this agency. And I would like to speak, I want to say a few thank yous. I pride myself because I took some notes. I don't usually do notes, but I did notes today because there were some things that I didn't want to miss. And I'd like to, again, acknowledge and thank all of you as the county commissioners, acknowledging and thanking, appreciating Mrs. Baker, Clinton Forbes, Todd Bonloren, Sheila Brown, Dr. James Green, Isame, so many people that I've just named that are part of the team here at the county that have done so much to support the Sickle Cell Foundation over many, many years. Mayor Greg Weiss, so many things. I can't even put it all into words, because then I know that you all want to be out of here at a decent time, so I won't do that. But I want to say that one of the things that we do, and this is where I got clever and made notes, we've implemented a comprehensive approach to assist youth with sickle cell disease in transitioning into adulthood, because we know that yields profound benefits. It empowers them with the necessary tools, knowledge, and support systems so they can foster great self-reliance, improve health outcomes, and enhance overall quality of life. We know that by addressing their unique needs holistically, we can help them pave a way for a brighter, more promising future. And that is some of the work that we do at the Sickle Cell Foundation. And I just want to say thank you all for all of your support. And I want to thank you, Commissioner McBernard, for the things that you do when no one is looking, when no one is watching. It is not for accolade, but you've always stood up for us at the foundation, and you've always stood up for people in the community that I know are the most vulnerable. And you have been a voice for them and you've demanded that people listen, and I thank you for that. And I'd like to thank my staff and the board of directors for being here with us today. Team Sickle Cell Foundation. Thank you, Juanita.
This is so fun. I like this. If Allison Volks could come forward. Allison is the Assistant Vice President of Philanthropy of Feeding South Florida. How do you do? Today we're going to declare September 2023 as Feeding South Florida Hunger Action Month. Whereas since 1981, Feeding South Florida has worked to end hunger in Palm Beach County by providing our community in need with immediate access to nutritious food. And whereas Hunger Action Month is an opportunity to be part of a month-long movement that impacts the mission to end hunger in South Florida. And whereas hunger does not discriminate, it knows no race, religion, or age. In South Florida, approximately 1 million individuals face hunger. Food should not be an impossible choice for the community of Palm Beach County. And whereas Feeding South Florida leads hunger and poverty advocacy efforts in our community while transforming lives through innovative programming and education that provide economic growth and overall well-being. And whereas Palm Beach County is committed to supporting organizations involved with hunger relief efforts, and that together we can achieve a hunger-free South Florida. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 12th day of September, that September 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Feeding South Florida Hunger Action Month. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of Feeding South Florida, we appreciate the Commission for recognizing September as Hunger Action Month. Feeding South Florida provides food assistance and other critical resources to individuals and families who are facing hunger. We serve 4 counties, but are really thrilled that we have a physical location here in Palm Beach County and Boynton Beach, where in addition to the food assistance, we provide workforce development initiatives. Our goal is not just to provide food for families, but to also give families a hand up to be able to live better lives. We have a workforce development program, which includes a community kitchen culinary training program, as well as we provide meals, home-delivered meals for seniors prepared right in our community kitchen, senior grocery boxes, and other resources and support. We invite each of you and the audience as well to stop by our facility anytime to see our work firsthand and understand how you can engage with us to address food insecurity and hunger in Palm Beach County. On behalf of our entire team, we appreciate your support and thank you for authoring this proclamation. Thank you.
Get a nice picture. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. First, the profession.
Okay, I'd like to call up our community response team, Heidi Schaefer, Alex Ortiz, Todd Bonlaren, Stephanie Shenaha, Susan Carlini, and Tammy Fields. Good morning. Okay, thank you. So we are here today to present the proclamation declaring October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas domestic violence impacts millions of people each year and continues to be a major social crisis and healthcare concern in our country, state, and county. And whereas regardless of race, age, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, socioeconomic status, or citizenship, victims receive the empathy and compassion they need to heal and equitable access to medical and legal services, counseling, safe housing, and supportive services. And those who choose to harm should be held accountable for their actions and provided opportunities for rehabilitation. And whereas key partnerships are formed among criminal justice agencies, health providers, allied professionals, domestic violence shelters, and victim services to assist victims and their families and to hold offenders accountable. And whereas in 2022, local domestic violence leaders, in collaboration with community leaders and survivors of domestic violence, have launched the Palm Beach County Domestic Violence Coordinated Community Response Team. It's a mouthful, to help improve the criminal justice system, to reduce incidences of domestic violence and the impact it has on communities through education, advocacy, and accountability. And whereas the team is sponsoring a Domestic Violence Awareness Month opening ceremony themed Palm Beach County Cares, will be at Palm Beach State College at Duncan Theater on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023 at 9 a.m. And whereas Palm Beach County recognizes the vital importance of designating a time devoted to increasing public awareness to hold forth a vision of a community free from domestic violence. And whereas in supporting victims of domestic violence, Palm Beach County joins local programs, state coalitions, and national organizations committed to sending a clear message that domestic violence will not be tolerated. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled today, 12th of September 2023, that October 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Good morning. We are last up, I think, correct? Almost, one more. All right, well, I appreciate your patience. Thank you, commissioners, for allowing this important proclamation to be heard today. It's incredibly important. And thank you, Commissioner Woodward. You've always been committed to making sure abuse of any form is not allowed in this community, and you've stood by that. And today you've done a mitzvah, so thank you. So I'm representing with all these wonderful people. I think I'll read their names again in case you didn't hear it the first time. Todd Bonlaren, we all know him. Stephanie Sanjoya, Susan Carlini, Tammy Fields, and Alex Ortiz. Rosie Johnson, who is actually the coordinator for the CCR, we abbreviated that for your, we should have told you that in advance. But the idea is that we wanted a streamlined response, and Rosie handles the coordination of all this, and she's from AVDA, and they couldn't be here today. Her son's fighting the flu, I think. But basically, the idea is to make it easier for victims to come forward and have a one-stop shop rather than having to tell their stories repeatedly. It just re-traumatizes these victims. and I could speak from experience. I don't normally announce this publicly, but I am a survivor of domestic violence. And it was this county, this very county, all these great services were provided to me and to my son, who was very young at the time. So we are very blessed to have in this county so many resources, and we have to get the word out. So part of the opening ceremonies, which you're all invited to on the 4th, as you heard, we'd love to see any of you out there if you can come. Audience members, this pertains to everybody. Anybody can be a victim of domestic violence. I'm sure you've all been touched in some way. Somebody you know might be affected. It could be even you. You know, maybe you're recognizing you're not in a healthy relationship, but we're here to help. So I just want to thank all the people involved. Like I said, AVDA was an amazing resource for me. I know they can't be here today, but we have members of the YWCA, we have Victim Services. You guys should be very proud of Victim Services, the best in the nation as far as I'm concerned, and I work on a national level in this realm. So very proud of them for being here. Flight Center is relatively new to this county. I know some of you have visited them in West Palm Beach. We had the commissioner here earlier. But we are trying to get resources into that area, and we know that sex traffickers will have, let's just say, the fraudulent mannerism of pretending that they're boyfriends or girlfriends with the victims, like a romantic interest, and then they pimp them out. So it all goes under the umbrella of domestic violence when you think about it, and we have to do everything we can to be vigilant. So I just want to thank everybody who's here today to listen to this proclamation. I thank Commissioner Woodward. I don't know if any of you have anything additional to say, but I just really want to thank all the people that are coming together to say we are not going to tolerate this in our county anymore. Thank you.
While they're taking their picture, I'd like to ask Commissioner Michael Barnett to join me in presenting this proclamation. Commissioner? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Buenos dias. I have the great honor and privilege with my colleague, Commissioner Barnett, to present a proclamation declaring that September 15th through October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month. But before I do that, I can't mess this up because my assistant, Virginia Savieto, has given me specific instructions on how I'm supposed to do this. And if you know Virginia, you know I have to follow them exactly. So I'd like all the agencies that are here for the Hispanic Heritage Proclamation to please rise in place so we can recognize all of you. Wow. So after I finish presenting the proclamation, and you can please be seated, we'll ask you to please come forward. We'd love to take a picture with our board behind the dais. So we'll invite you all to join us afterwards. Also, to let you know, after we finish with our morning session, we are going to go down to 3rd Street, and we have a bus that is wrapped with, in celebration. This year's theme is We Are Leaders, and so it's parked outside, and love to get some pictures. So with that, where'd you go, Commissioner Barnett? Okay. Whereas Hispanics of every race, class, and multiple nationalities have made historic contributions to the growth and the strength of Palm Beach County in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas the historical influence of Hispanic contributions is outweighed only by the vital and integral role Hispanics currently play in shaping the present and future of Palm Beach County in business, education, law, science, technology, and numerous other fields. And whereas Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated nationwide and begins on September 15th, the anniversary of independence for Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, with Mexico achieving independence on September 16th and Chile on September 18th. Hispanic Heritage Month has been celebrated in the United States since 1974. And whereas the Hispanic population in Palm Beach County is more than 23% of the 1.5 million people who call our county home, the Hispanic Human Resources Council, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Florida Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic Bar Association, Hispanic Education Coalition, El Sol Neighborhood Resource Center, Guatemala Maya Center, Latin Quarter of West Palm Beach, Caridad Center, Farm Worker Coordinating Council of Palm Beach County, Esperanza Community Center, Family Impact of Palm Beach County, Democratic Hispanic Caucus, and Republican National Hispanic Assembly of Palm Beach County continue a history of working on multiple initiatives and partnerships to benefit the community. And whereas the Palm Beach County Library System, Office of Community Revitalization, Parks and Recreation Department, Art in Public Places Program, PalmTran, PBC TV Channel 20, Office of Equal Business Opportunity, Department of Housing and Economic Development, Public Safety Department, and Consumer Affairs Division, Youth Services Department, and Cooperative Extension with its Agricultural Workforce Safety Training and 4-H Juntos Grant work in collaboration to promote and enhance the local Hispanic community and its culture. And whereas, to invite community involvement and highlight Hispanic culture, the Palm Beach County Community Services Department will host a Hispanic Heritage Tour to celebrate, acknowledge contributions, cultural and economic impact and growth of the Hispanic Latino community in Palm Beach County. And whereas, in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, we honor the contributions Hispanics have made in Palm Beach County, and we highlight the important part of the rich diversity that keeps our community strong. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners assembled in regular session this 12th day of September 2023, that September 15th through October 15th, 2023, in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you. I'd like to invite up Clinton Forbes and Juan Pagan. If you can join me for a couple of brief words.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor.
I was supposed to invite you up.
Thank you so much, and I really thank you. Muchas gracias, Mayor. I call him Gregorio in this instances like this month. Thank you so much for supporting all the initiatives, Mayor. For the past almost 5 years, you've been there for us, our community, and I'm so proud to call you my boss. So Dr. Green had to take a plane, so he left me some words. The Community Services Department and its employees are honored to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. We take immense pride in hosting the Hispanic Heritage Tour in collaboration with PalmTran. This initiative aims to educate our employees about the invaluable contributions of the Hispanic community. By fostering connections with key community leaders and stakeholders, we strive to strengthen collaborations and promote inclusivity within our diverse community. Together, we embrace and celebrate the rich cultural tapestry that Hispanic heritage brings to our society. Again, thank you so much for all my friends, my leaders, to be here. I'm going to invite Juan Pagan and Susie Diaz, our councilwoman from Green Acres, and of course, Clinton Forbes, to say a couple of words.
Buenos días. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to be here. Thank you, County Commissioner, Ms. Baker. It's a pleasure to work with all of you. And even though they're talking about since 1974 that the Hispanic Heritage Months are being celebrated, guess what? We are here not just for 1 month. We're here all year around. And it's about working with the community. When I moved to this community over 34 years ago, the Hispanic population was barely not even 10,000 people. Today, according to the last census, over 470,000. And we have representation over 21 countries, all the way from beautiful Mexico to dancing the tango down in Argentina. And it's also, we come back up dancing salsa, merengue, and bachata, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. So they are residents, and we're here to work together. That's what we want to do. We want to help the community. We want to help everybody, regardless where you're from. Even if you're a gringo, we're going to help you. That's what it's all about. Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Thank you. My name is Susie Diaz. I'm honored to be a council member in the city of Green Acres, where our demographic is very near 50% Hispanic. First generation born here in the United States of Cuban parents who were also small business owners. I'm going to out my year. 1974 was a good year. What you see here is a representation of so many facets of our Hispanic community. Our community is a kaleidoscope. And I am so honored that you have recognized that you know the importance of the contributions. Behind every one of those contributions, behind every one of these faces, there is a story. And there is a common denominator behind each of those stories, and it is resiliency, and it is perseverance. So as we honor our community, as you honor our community, those facets that make us who we are the facets that we are bringing to Palm Beach County, resiliency and perseverance. So thank you so much again for letting us be here today. And I guess we're gonna now shimmy to, the agenda. Thank you.
Hola. ¿Cómo tú estás? Bien, muy bien. Buenos dias. Clinton Forbes, Executive Director of PalmTran. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, we are really proud to be a part of this effort. When I think about this event, Hispanic Heritage Month, I think about PalmTran's mission statement. And our mission statement is that we provide access to opportunity for everyone. And when we do it safely, efficiently, and courteously. Now, very powerful words in that mission statement in terms of access and opportunity. And it transcends our core purpose of bus transportation, access and opportunity. And so, I think it meets, this event square. And so we are very proud to be a part of this. My marketing team has told me that when we wrap a bus and place it in service, it receives thousands of impressions. And so we're extremely glad that we have a beautiful wrapped Hispanic heritage bus wrapped, and that the community will know about our Hispanic heritage here in Palm Beach County. Thank you.
All right, if I could ask everybody who's going to come up and join us for a photo. Thank you. I want to thank everybody who was able to join us for our special presentations. I want to take a moment of personal privilege and recognize former state representatives Irv Schlossberg and Emily Schlossberg, who have served Palm Beach County in the House of Representatives, Florida House of Representatives. Additionally, the founding of a nonprofit, Dory Saves Lives, and their work both as state representatives and as private citizens in trying to make not only Palm Beach County, but the state of Florida safer for everyone on our roadways. I would like to speak about a situation that happened a couple of weeks ago. One of our commission offices was alerted to possible illegal structures being in the road right-of-way. And as commissioners, we have a responsibility. When we receive that type of information, we share that with staff to investigate and to review the situations as they come into our office and we're made aware of them. And in this case, somebody had called in and reported a structure, a memorial, that had assumed to be in Palm Beach County's right-of-way near our roadways, in addition to some other memorial-type structures that have been erected. It's an unfortunate situation that when the review took place, we were not accurate in identifying where this memorial was actually located, and the memorial was removed per county policy. But it was done in a respectful manner, and all components, as is always the case if a roadside memorial has been erected, it is held onto safely and stored to try and get it returned to family members or those who had installed such a structure. So in this case, unfortunately, the memorial was removed, but immediately upon being made aware of what had happened, we reached out to the Schlossbergs to let them know once it was determined that we had done this, and acknowledge this mistake that was made, because it turns out that the memorial was not actually in our right-of-way. It was in property that belonged to another governmental agency, and so it had been improperly removed, and we replaced it and returned it to its original condition. We're entering into the Jewish high holidays, as we heard earlier when we heard from Rabbi Silver. For those that practice the Jewish religion, which I'm one of, this season is about reconciliation. It's about forgiveness. It's about reminding ourselves that we're fallible as human beings, that we make mistakes. But in this case, a mistake was made, and I believe our government and myself, with the honor of being the mayor of Palm Beach County, did the right thing to own up to that mistake and to try and make amends to the family, to the friends of those involved. So on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, on behalf of our staff, I want to apologize and ask for your forgiveness, because there's no way that we can undo what happened, but all we can do is say we're sorry. And to let you know how much we value you, the contributions that you have made and will continue to make, and the loss of your daughter and the other young people that were killed in that tragic accident. But you continue to move forward and use it as a reminder, as a way to educate young people and the public as to what can happen if we're not careful on our roadways. So with that, Representative Schlossbergs, I'd ask you if you have any comments you'd like to make.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Shana, you want to show the picture of Dory? Mr. Mayor, we're going to have 3 of us speaking today, and we'll try to keep it to 15 minutes. And they're an important 15 minutes. And first of all, this is my daughter, Dory, and Emily's twin sister, Dory, and Shana's best friend. First of all, I'd like to thank the commissioners for hearing us today, and Administrator Baker and staff for hearing our story, because our story is an important story. And I'd like to thank the mayor for coming out when rats, and everybody understood our woes. Well, what happened basically is that my daughter and Emily, they went to a movie, they snuck out of the movie, and they're kids, you know, 6 girls and 1 child. They're all 13 and 14 years old. A 19-year-old guy finds them and says, hey, we're going to a party. Well, it wasn't a party at all. It was on Palmetto Park, just west of the Turnpike, and next thing you know, they're going 100 miles an hour, and my daughter's dead, 4 other girls are dead, and another girl, Maribel, is a quadriplegic, and my other twin daughter is on a respirator dying. You know, stuff like this, you know, I would have never. I mean, it's not that I was a road safety guy before this. I got 1 ticket in my life. And so but I woke up one day and, you know, my daughters are in a car crash, and next thing you know, we go out to the site where they died. We put up a Jewish star and 4 crosses. And, you know, we just didn't put up this Jewish star and 4 crosses. It was in cement. And the parents and myself, we would go to the site, and, you know, the community would benefit, because a lot of parents would take their kids out to the site and show them what can happen. And so this was a community affair where a lot of, you know, it was just all over Palm Beach County. Emily and I did diversion programs with the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, and there were offenders there doing 100 miles an hour. We'd go out with the offenders, and we try to straighten them out and show them what can happen. So this was, and we worked with the Lake Worth Drainage Company. The Lake Worth Drainage Company, they own that land. You don't own that land. They own that land. We worked with the Lake Worth Drainage Company, and these people were bending over backwards for us. They were just doing everything right. Whatever it was, they knew this was, besides a crash, this was a religious memorial. Children visited the site with us. And then I closed my business, and I ran for election to be the representative in honor of Dory, to enhance traffic safety and put new laws on the books. Because part of the reasons Dory died was she wasn't wearing her seatbelt, aggressive driving, and there were a lot of distracted driving. There were a lot of reasons. I worked for 10 months and this was 2 years afterwards. I went to Starbucks, I went to the gym, and I went to the cemetery, and I cried every day I lost my daughter. You know, I couldn't believe it. And one day I woke up and I said, either I could feel sorry for myself the rest of my life, or I could do something about it. And so I decided to go do something about it instead of feeling sorry for the rest of my life. There was only one problem. It was the Godfather. There was a guy here who was the Godfather. And if you weren't on the Godfather's team, you weren't going to be a representative, you weren't going to be a politician, you were not going to be anything in South Palm Beach County. He ran it with an iron fist. I went around to the Democratic clubs and he says, "You can't speak." I said, "What do you mean I can't speak?" He said, "Just because your daughter died in a car crash, it doesn't mean a thing as far as as far as a politician. Every politician in Palm Beach County has to answer to me. I am the boss of Palm Beach County." I looked at the guy and I said, and the insiders know this, that I'm telling the truth. I looked at the guy and I said to him, "You know what? You're not going to stop me. I'm going to be your representative whether you like it or not." And he says, "Well, I don't like it, and no one in Palm Beach County ever beats me." And I said, "We'll see, buddy." And he saw. And I was just unstoppable because my daughter died in a car crash. When your daughter dies in a car crash, you become unstoppable. Well, I won, and he never let me forget it. Me and my daughter, we probably saved 30,000 lives in Tallahassee, and this is quantifiable. The seatbelt law is named after Dory. We passed the Dory Schlossberg Driver Education Act for 10 years. Emily and I drove around to all the counties, and $5 is added to a traffic ticket, and this money goes directly to the driver's ed department. And so far, Palm Beach County has probably gotten like $10 million from this act. And, unfortunately, little was spent in my district, but you know what? I didn't do this for my district. I did this, and Emily did this for the state of Florida because that's who we worked for. The canals were not guardrailed. They built the canals, there weren't any guardrails. So I went to the governor, and the governor said, "Show me." So I showed him that there were 500 people were dying every year, and he says, "Okay, let's pass a bill." I said, "Okay." And he says, "Irv, go find money." I said, "How much?" He says, $23 million. So I had to go find $23 million in the budget. And then we found it, we got local option. Emily and I drove around for 10 years to 57 counties to pass this local option. And so far, this bill is $60 million for all the counties in the state of Florida. 57 counties in the state of Florida. And then the Alexander Ware Memorial Turnpike barrier lady comes into the office and says, "You know what? My son died in my arms." I said, "How?" And she says, "Because there's no guardrails. So we got guardrails." Took a can't see, you can't drive law. We took 1 million senior citizens off the road because of the fact that we instituted a vision test. And they couldn't see anymore. So the 10 million people who couldn't, the 1 million people couldn't see anymore. Next thing you know, they are not going to take the test anymore. Did Palm Beach County ever make one of our priorities, which was life-saving, tens of millions of dollars? I mean, and we had a lot of different bills. And did Palm Beach County ever make one of our priorities their priority? Never. Not one of our priorities was their priorities. All of our priorities, on the other hand, did we work for Palm Beach County hard? Oh yeah, we weren't. Todd gave us our orders, and Emily and we were working all hard. And the Godfather and his minions, they were pulling all sorts of strings so that we were not successful. But he couldn't do anything about it because of the fact he knew no one in Tallahassee, and we know everyone in Tallahassee. He was a powerful guy. So, and he was so powerful, this guy would set up websites that whenever I ran for something, I was a gun guy. Now, you know, I'm like the last. I don't even own a gun. I was the lead Democrat on criminal justice, and the Democrats would never put a gun guy in that spot, but he did it. And what does this have to do with removal of the Jewish star and four crosses? My first thought when Shana called me up and she says to me, "Herb, the crosses are down, the Jewish star's down." I said, "Oh, wow. Could this be the Godfather coming back to life and doing this, or his minions doing this?" You know, my daughter retired, and I was out of politics. At first, I thought it was vandals, something. So then we reported to the sheriff's office. And the Palm Beach County Sheriff, they wouldn't believe it, as they didn't even own the land. They called me up the next morning and says, "Hey, Irv, this wasn't vandals, this was Palm Beach County." I called my commissioner's office, Commissioner Woodard. I spoke to Caitlin. I was going to inform her about the event. She said, "I know already about this event." And I gave the complaint to Commissioner Sachs. Well, 6 weeks ago, the complaint was given to Janet at Commissioner Sachs's office. I said, one complaint, and you took down the Jewish star, 4 crosses, and the children's pictures and the memorials put in a locker? She didn't answer me. She said, "This did not come from our office." And then I know what Caitlin said, and Caitlin said to me, she gave it to Janet in Commissioner Sachs's office. So before you took down the memorial, you had a 4 to 6 week lead time. Wow, could Commissioner Sachs have really initiated this? The desecration of, this is shocking. This is shocking. I can't believe it. The question is, how can an engineer and 8 workers mow down a Jewish star and 4 crosses and put them in a locker? I mean, it's just impossible to believe that they could do something like this. And you didn't own the land. Did you inform any parent? No, you didn't inform any parent.
Yeah, Representative?
Yes.
You and I had an agreement for how much time?
I'll finish it up. I'm going to tell you what I want. That's the key. What do I want from the commission to do? What I want is an investigation and who did what on this. And then I want, I'm not going to sue you. I'm not asking you for money for the Dory Foundation, which I chair. I'm asking you to bring more awareness to teen driving. How are you going to do this? You're going to bring teenagers to the memorial and show them what can happen. We have a 20-minute video with Emily and I going into the prisons, and if you take the drug and alcohol test in the state of Florida, you more than likely have to see this video because this changes teenager behavior. I want this shown to more and more schools. I want you to bring, this is the bottom line. And in most cases in the state of Florida, this is shown, the 20-minute video. We are not doing a good job at educating our teens about road safety. I mean, any parent or grandparent knows. Go on, Emily.
Can I have 2 minutes, Commissioner? Very quickly. Sorry. Thank you. It will be very quick. Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. On February 23rd, 1996, I was in that car crash. My twin sister, 4 of our friends, we were in the backseat of a Honda Civic. The driver of the car sped at speeds over 90 miles per hour. He went head-on into another car, and as a result, 7 of us in the backseat flew. 5 dead, including my twin sister. I wake up in the hospital. Trees are growing out of my hair. My lung is punctured. My leg is punctured. The only thing I can think about is, where's my twin sister? I'm on a respirator, so I can't speak. I write on my father's hand, "Where is Dory?" And I thank God I was on that respirator. He handed me the Sun Sentinel, and I read that my twin sister was dead. I'm glad I was on that respirator. Dory was smart, she was funny, she was sarcastic. She was the life of the party, and I will never stop missing her. And it's been 27 years. For the last 27 years, a Jewish star and 4 crosses has sat on Palmetto Park Road, symbolizing the place where she took her last breath and where my friends took their last breath. For the last 27 years, we have gathered there every single anniversary, birthday, holidays, to remember them, to pay tribute to them. Each one of those crosses and that star represent a child who was killed with family and friends. And this is what makes the county, what the county did, so disturbing. Without telling anyone, without contacting one of the families, the county employees bulldozed all 5 memorials. The county employees treated this like it was removing garbage. This is really about honoring those 5 victims, Dory, Crystal, Carolina, Margot, and Ryan. It is about bringing awareness to other drivers. The county needs to change its policies regarding roadside memorials. It must provide victim notification to the families. It must reach out to victims and talk about what they plan to do or what they would like to do, so that no family has to go through what our family has. And with that, I just want to say thank you, and I hope that you will change your policies and definitely think about what you're doing in the future.
Dory's best friend Shayna has a few words. Shayna.
Good morning. Thank you for hearing me. I'll be quick. I just want to start from the beginning to give you guys a quick picture. February 23rd, 1996, I spoke to Dory that morning. She was supposed to get my makeup homework for me, and I was supposed to sleep over with Carolina and Maribel. I didn't know that would be the last time I spoke to Dory. For some reason, I can only say God stopped me from asking my mom to go over that night, and I had been paging all of them. Around midnight, I get a call from Delray Community Hospital stating there was a bunch of kids involved in a very bad accident, and none of them had identification on them. They needed me to identify my friends. I turned 14 February 3rd, 20 days after my 14th birthday. I had to identify Carolina over the phone. I had to identify Maribel over the phone at 14. When I got off the phone with Delray, and I'm the one that told Delray Community Hospital there's 2 identical twins there, Emily and Dory Schlossberg. I had to tell them. When I hung up with them, I then had to make the hardest phone call I ever had to make in my life, and that was to Irv, who's been my second father since I was 10 years old. I had to tell him, I don't know if they're dead or alive, but we have to get to Delray Community Hospital. With that being said, I understand people are human and people make mistakes. I get that. At the end of the day, what this comes down to is Commissioner Sachs and her office failed to do their job by researching what memorials it was.
That's not accurate. That's not accurate. I have to correct the record. An investigation was done. That's not how at all what happened.
Okay, so mistakenly, it was taken off of property and removed without any of the family's knowledge, and it wasn't your property. So it was illegally removed, and it wasn't interfering with the walkway, and it wasn't interfering with the road. So I just feel like sorry is not good enough. I don't feel that that stands. It brought back February 23rd, 1996 all over again to myself and to the families and all of the closest friends. We had to relive that day all over again. We're still trying to recover from that, okay? So last but least, I'll be done in 1 minute. Last but least, I really feel in my gut and in my heart that if such a critical mistake could be made, what mistakes could be made going forward where you don't have the opportunity to say, I'm sorry, and that we'll just replace it. So I want the governor to remove Mrs. Sachs from her position.
Ma'am, that this is inappropriate.
Mayor, if I may have a moment, let me just be very, very clear that none of these commissioners have the authority or to make directions to administrative employees. They cannot call up engineering and say, remove a memorial. Neither can any of their staff. They cannot do that. They do not do that. It is outside of their authority per our charter. What they do is what they were elected to do, which is to take complaints and to raise issues with staff. So their job is to notify staff there's an issue. What happens is up to staff. It is not up to the commissioner. Absolutely not. They cannot tell a commissioner to remove a monument. They cannot tell staff to remove a monument. They don't do that. That would be a misuse of their position, and there's absolutely zero evidence that that happened. All that happened is a citizen made a complaint, and the engineering department made a mistake. They believed that was county property, and it was a grievous mistake. There's no doubt about that. But it was not Commissioner Sachs. It was not any other commissioner, and it was simply a mistake. There are a lot of right-of-ways in this county. It is our policy and procedure to remove monuments that are in the right-of-way because they are a traffic hazard. So they believed they were doing their job. And it's unfortunate, but it certainly was not anything that was deliberate. And as soon as the administrator found out that this had occurred, she immediately took action to have this restored. By the way, it was not bulldozed in any way, shape, or form. It was carefully removed. It was preserved, all parts of it. And these are always done that way in case the family does want them and wants to take them and put them somewhere where they are allowed. It is very unfortunate in this case, but it certainly was not any kind of deliberate act, and it was not the act of any of the commissioners. It was simply a staff mistake.
All right.
Okay, I just want to say after 27 years, this mistake came off of one complaint out of 27 years.
I mean, this is off of one complaint.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We don't believe anything.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
Okay. Just to clarify,
And the reason I said this, Greg, is because of the fact that I spoke to Caitlin in Commissioner Woodard's office, and Caitlin told me the whole story. And she said.
All right. I want to correct, I just need to put it on the record. First off, Commissioner Vice Mayor Sachs, this was nothing intentionally done by her, and I'm personally offended. I mean, you're entitled to an opinion, but you're not entitled to the facts.
This is what Commissioner Woodard's Caitlin told me.
I don't want to have an argument here with you, sir. Okay. My heart goes out to you and your family and to the families of all the other children that were involved. And again, I apologize and ask for your forgiveness that we did the right thing once we were notified of what happened. But nobody here intentionally did anything to anybody. And just to clarify, when we are notified that something is in our right-of-way, we must, as commissioners, we must take action and inform staff so that, God forbid, somebody were to hit something that was placed in our right-of-way and we were made aware of it and we didn't do anything about it. We have culpability and responsibility at that point. So we have a responsibility to do it, and I will tell you it has happened in my district. I probably guess it's happened in everybody's district where things have been erected.
They took down a Jewish star and 4 crosses?
I was respectful while you spoke. I invited you to come here under my own personal privilege to have you speak to us, but I'd like to finish my comments. That when these instances happen, we notify staff, which is our responsibility to do. They have a responsibility to remove things that are not permitted in our right-of-way, to keep everybody safe. As you, as an advocate for highway safety, you understand that if something is near or in the roadway that doesn't belong there, somebody could be seriously injured because of that. So
what you're saying basically,
all I'm saying is that we have a responsibility, and all it takes is one person to notify us. We're not the ones that do the investigation. We're the ones that share that information with our staff. That's their responsibility. Our responsibility is to share with them whatever information we were given. That's our responsibility, and it's our duty to do that. And again, I apologize. My heart, as I said, goes out to you. I think everybody on this board's heart goes out to you and your family. Nobody should ever have to go through what you all had to go through, and that every child should have an opportunity to grow up and live their fullest and best life. But unfortunately, kids make mistakes, and they can be really costly. And the fact of the work that you are doing to ensure that that hopefully never happens to any other child or any other family, we applaud you. But all I can do is say, on behalf of our board, I apologize. We put it back and that it was a mistake, and I'm asking for your forgiveness in this season
Mr. Mayor,
of Yom Kippur.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
please,
you
I
have my forgiveness. You have my forgiveness. However, I do not believe in
Okay.
any way, shape, or form a mid-level engineer could go take 10 guys, mow down
okay,
a Jewish Star
mi-
and Four
mi-
Crosses. I just don't believe it.
Mr.
I don't know.
Salzberg, thank you. And thank you for coming in and sharing your story with us. Ms. Bakery, would you like to be recognized?
Yes, and I'll be very brief. The county attorney was absolutely correct when I found out what happened. I called you, Representative
You did.
Schlossberg, and I apologize. I'm a mother, so I understand. I cannot even imagine. So my heart goes out, and I apologize on behalf of my staff. They thought they were doing what is required. We have an ordinance that does not allow for anything other than what's been permitted in our right-of-way. Someone made a mistake, a human mistake, and so we apologize for that. And I would have had them put it back the same day, but you and I spoke,
Right.
and you said you could do it next week. I said, no, we're going to take care of this immediately. We agreed that it would be done the next morning. And I put my staff on notice, we did it. On behalf of my staff, I do apologize again, because I can't even imagine the pain.
You took care of it immediately.
But we have looked at our ordinance. The ordinance is what it is. We're looking at our policies and procedures. We're going to ensure that if there's ever a question, we will look at it. We will do a detailed analysis to ensure that if our right-of-way is adjacent to someone else's right-of-way, that before we touch it, we take it up. Our staff also has procedures that if they take something up, we take it up with empathy, and we ensure that we take care of it, we store it properly, so that if a family wants it back, it's there, available, and it is not damaged, and we give it back. I ensured that we cleaned up the items we removed, and then we put them back exactly the way that they were, because we take pictures of things when we go out. So again, I apologize. I can't say it enough, but I do, and I can feel the pain, but there's nothing else we can do right now except put it back, and we did.
Mrs.
So-
Baker, I understand we can't do anything about the past. The question comes down to, what are we going to do about the future? How are we going to prioritize teen driving and teen safety in Palm Beach County?
We'd be happy to take that up at a workshop
Good.
at a later date.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you, everybody, for
Thank you.
hearing me out.
All right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I was taught that no one is perfect from a very young age, and we should all have some compassion for these situations. And as a mother, I can't imagine, and as a professional, that Commissioner Sachs would ever in a million years intentionally want to remove or have removed, nor do we have that authority. So I do find personal attacks on her to be very heartbreaking, because she is a mother and she understands what that would be. So I just want to speak up for her and say that that is absolutely wrong to do to any one person, because it wasn't even in her authority to do. All we can do as commissioners is notify staff. That's it. Anything else we could get in trouble for. We notify staff, we leave it up to them. So I am sorry for your loss. I can't imagine what any parent would go through, absolutely. But I just ask you to please be understanding and respectful that Commissioner Sachs has been a professional for a very long time and a mother and just one of the most compassionate people up here. So thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Irv, we've served in Tallahassee together, and Emily, we've worked on numerous issues. And I know for me, I'm a father with 3 girls, and I don't know what I would do if what happened to you happened to me. But I know on behalf of myself, the county, we apologize for the mistakes that we've made. And, I pledge to you that I'll continue to work with you and Emily and your family to continue to address, teenage driving. I have a daughter who's got her license and who's driving. And so I know that it's important, and I will work with you to address this as a county commissioner. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Sachs, you're recognized.
Thanks so much, Mayor, and my fellow colleagues. Thank you for their support. Let's have the record straight. In August, a woman by the name of Stephanie Donner called the county commission, and she said, I don't know what, I didn't respond to her call, but it was made to a county commissioner, to a staff of the county commission, and according to what the record reflects, she wanted all of the roadside memorials to be removed because they were road hazards. That staff member, pursuant to Stephanie Donner's phone call, contacted a staff member in my office. That staff member did exactly what she was supposed to do, according to county policy. That staff member contacted engineering and said to them that there was a woman by the name of Stephanie Donner. The Schlossberg family knows Stephanie Donner because she has had contact with them before, according to a staff member in my office. Stephanie Donner wanted all of them removed. 3 of them were removed properly by our engineering staff. One of those removed happened to be 3 other children and your child who suffered a terrible accident and died. I'm looking for our record of conversation, Mr. Schlossberg. This occurred when you contacted me on August 23rd at 5:25 p.m. Hi, Maria, and I'm quoting from my phone. Now, this is public record. There's already been a public record request made of all of our offices regarding this incident, and this was pursuant to a Palm Beach County detective coming to our offices and taking taped interviews with staff members in our county offices. Hi, Maria. Someone took down the memorial for 4 crosses and a Jewish star, possibly vandals of South Florida Water District. They own the land. Whoever did this are a bunch of lowlives with no advance warning as it was bulldozed down. News media will be there at 7:15 tonight. Ed checked with code enforcement from county. They said they would never do that. My response in the morning of Thursday, August 24th, to you, Mr. Schlossberg, they will be placed back where they should be, 2 hearts and 2 crosses, 2 heart, the cross hands emojis. Thank you, said you, Mr. Schlossberg. My response, of course, Irv, I'm always here for you. delivered to you. Your response, Mr. Schlossberg, thank you. That was on Thursday, August 24th at 10:01 a.m. After that, as far as I heard, those memorials were replaced. They had to be repaired because they were in disarray. They had issues with being placed in the ground for so long without being taken care of. Our staff took care of them, replaced them. You know, Mr. Schlossberg, I was in the Senate, sir. I served with you when you were in the Florida House, and I sponsored your bill and my bill on texting while driving. You and I put that bill together, Mr. Schlossberg, and at that time, as you know, there was a foundation that has been in place for many years. And that foundation, and I want all the commissioners to hear this, and I want everybody to hear this, it's an excellent foundation that was founded by the Florida House of Representatives and the Florida Senate and signed by the governor. And that foundation takes $7, sometimes $5 from every ticket in the state of Florida for this has got to be over 10, 15 years. And that money is placed in a foundation that you started, and thank you for doing that. And this money from this foundation is given to every school board in 67 counties. 67 counties, including Palm Beach County, sir, which you very well represented in the Florida House, as well as Commissioner Bernard, represented in the Florida House. And I want every mother and every father to hear this, that if your school is not offering teen education for driving, please contact Irv Schlossberg, because he will make sure that you get the money to put that foundation together to have those teenagers learn how to drive safely. And Irv, I want to thank you personally, because as you know, and I have told you many times, I have a son, 15.
I saved
you know
his life.
This 1 minute, Mr. Schlossberg. And he had a car accident on Linton Boulevard. And it was because of your efforts that there is a barricade between Linton Boulevard and the canal. Go watch it, you'll see it. And my son was hit, this is important. My son was hit head on by an oncoming car. His car was demolished. And if it hadn't been for the barricade that you started, Mr. Schlossberg, my son would have been dead. And as the police officer said, he said, "Son, what's your birthday?" He said, "September 2nd. He said, "No, boy, today is your birthday." Mr. Schlossberg, thank you. My son is Marcello. And I'll tell you what, you continue to work hard to save every teenager in this county and in the 67 counties of this state. And everyone here who hears me, you know, you contact your school. Every school in this county has money because of Irv Schlossberg to have teen driving safety. Safety for our teenagers. Because as parents and grandparents, uncles and aunts, there's nothing more precious than our lives of our children. And thank you, Mr. Schlossberg, for doing that. You don't have to say anything.
No, I just want to correct the record.
No, sir.
One thing
No, sir. When it comes to our children, there's nothing else to say. You say it every time every dollar goes into that foundation. And I want every school to know that they've got the money to help our teen drivers. And thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor, for
Maria.
allowing me to speak. I have never said this publicly about my son. I know he's not watching because he doesn't watch these things.
Maria,
But
Maria,
I appreciate
Maria,
it, and thank you, Mayor.
I just want to correct the record.
I want to thank you,
This doesn't,
Mr. Schlossberg.
Greg,
You
just
can come
hear me
back.
out. Hear me out for 1 second,
Come back
Greg.
at public comment, please. All right?
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I just want to
Thank
correct
you.
the record on Maria, what Maria said. The money does not
not-
go into the foundation. It goes
That's okay.
directly to the schools.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. And again, our apologies. All right, we're moving on. I want to thank the board for your indulgence in allowing me this. And I apologize for the amount of time. All right, moving on to our regular agenda, item 5B1. Does any commissioner need a presentation on this item? Oh, maybe, were you here? Maybe you weren't here. 5B1. Okay, we will have a brief presentation on 5B1. We did a presentation on it before.
Oh, 5B1. I thought he said C.
But we've had a big one. I'm just saying, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, take a deep breath. You guys ready?
Ms. Miller, you're recognized.
Good. Still morning.
We're
Good
still
morning,
morning.
Mayor and Commissioners. Ms. Baker. Thank you very much. For the record, I'm Dorrit Miller, Assistant County Administrator. Unfortunately, our ISS Director is not here today. He's unable to be here, so we'll be taking care of this agenda item. So at the table, I have Ed Chase to my left, and Ed is our Director of Intergovernmental Affairs and our representative in Tallahassee. David Behar from the County Attorney's Office, as well as Annie Helfrent from the Attorney's Office. So before we go to the actual recommendation, which is the Civics Plus agreement, I would just like to provide some background information. So House Bill 7049 was passed by the state legislature in 2022, became effective January 1 of 2023. And what it does, it allows governmental agencies to utilize a publicly accessible website of the county to post legally required advertisements under certain conditions. Previously, this state law required us to publish these notices in newspaper of general circulation, so that was a change. There are a number of conditions that is required under the law, and I just highlighted two, the number of them. One of them is that this website must be searchable. The cost of the website option is less than the cost of publishing in the newspaper. The county is the owner of the website, which means that the county is obligated to create this website on behalf of other governmental entities. Okay, so municipalities, special districts, and other agencies in the county, they are not authorized to create this website. We have to do it and make it available to them if we do this, okay? So the review process. So this law existed. We got our law department together as well as our legislative affairs director to get a sense as to what it entails. In the meantime, our administrator Baker received several requests. The League of Cities in particular, the executive director had a meeting. We also had requests from the Palm Beach County City Managers Association, the school district, and other entities expressing a desire to have this website. So with that, the administrator tasked staff, me and others, to work on this legislation and to review it, what it means to the county, and to make a recommendation. So we actually convened a cross-departmental team. And this cross-departmental team was Palm Beach County departments. They were the high users to consider the legislation and to make a recommendation. At the end of the day, the cross-departmental team concluded that it would be good to have this website. Okay, we have to create it in any case for the other entities, and that there was an increase in efficiency and that the overall cost of advertising would be far less, okay? So we looked at the cost, and the cost of $21.22 to the county countywide was $248,000 in the previous fiscal year. We're now in the current 22-23 year. We also had the representatives from the executive director from the League of Cities also recommended that we should implement. So the next step was to look at the recommendation options that we have, how to implement this, whether we should create this in-house or in information systems services to create it. You know, they create a number of databases, or whether or not it should be outsourced. The outsource opportunity was the best one available. We realized that it existed in other areas. We also looked at other counties, what were they doing, and we found that counties had already implemented it. With our law department, we're looking at how to actually reduce the county's liability and make sure that we have controls in place to make sure that, you know, it will be minimal to the county. So the outsource opportunity is modeled after the one that we have in Broward County. Broward County had already started this implementation, and in Civics Plus LLC. Under this scenario, Palm Beach County will enter into an agreement with Civics Plus, which is what you have on the agenda today. Palm Beach County will negotiate the rates for the participating agencies. The participating agencies will sign an interlocal agreement with Palm Beach County, and David Behar beside me here, our lawyer, he is very firm on that one. That is something that we need to do, and that is a model that exists today. Civics Plus will issue an order to the participating jurisdictions. It is nothing mandatory, it's optional, and therefore each jurisdiction will make their own decision. The participants will make direct payment to Civic Plus. The funds do not pass through the county at all. And the participants will be wholly responsible for entering and managing their public notices, not the county. Civic Plus will also be responsible for training all participating agencies. In terms of the cost that we have is similar to what they've been offering. It's a one-time implementation fee of $2,000, and then the annual fees or rates, subscription base, is based on population. So for example, Palm Beach County, which is the largest in terms of population, the annual fee is $18,000 per year for the first 2 years. Municipalities with population 10 to 39, its scale is $6,000, $7,000, and it caps at $8,000 for population 90,000 or greater. Special districts and constitutional officers, municipalities with population less than 10,000, it's $5,000 per year. And there is a 3% escalation fee increase starting in year 3. So that is what is here before you this morning, and we have the team should you have any questions.
Is there any questions for staff at this time?
I'd like to wait to get some of the public comments, and then I have questions.
Oh, okay. All right. Can we set the timer to 3 minutes, please? I'd like to ask Mr. Chadi Irani to come to the lectern, and Mr. Rick Christie, if you'd like to take the other one, sir. You each have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Vice Mayor and board members. Moving public, my name is Shadi Irani, Vice President of Advertising of the Palm Beach Post. Moving public notices to a government website will mean less transparency and less notice to citizens, not more. Your constituents will miss important notice that affects them. For example, increased taxes, changing in zoning, school board policies, and all. In calculating costs, the school district should use an apples-to-apples comparison. You cannot compare running ads in the newspaper and reaching over 500,000 adults locally while providing affidavits and proof of publication and the necessary first-class mailings to just hosting a passive website, which is going to cost $200,000 based on this. The Palm Beach Post is owned by Gannett Media, the largest local media company in the nation with 218 daily media brands, but we are heavily invested in Florida and Palm Beach County with the Palm Beach Post and the Palm Beach Daily News. We're very also invested in the community we serve. We're about to kick off our Season to Share program where we raise $600,000 to local nonprofits. In addition, we host our high school sports award ceremony and our Best of the Best gala. We are local. We collect and serve information to our community 24/7 through multiple channels, and those channels are also evolving. Sure, there are fewer printed newspapers, but our total readership is growing. Based on Coda Ventures 2023 research study, the Palm Beach Post reaches 578,000 active and engaged readers across the newspaper, print, and digital platform every month. I have personally worked with the Palm Beach Post for 18 years, and I do not get a newspaper thrown in my driveway every single morning. I am, however, a subscriber and choose to read my electronic version of the news each morning. The same isn't true for some of the senior readers in our region. The argument that these readers will simply go online for critical information about what their governments are doing just doesn't hold water, and in fact would deprive them of this information. In addition, Gannett already employs 110 people who typeset public notices, 8 for Palm Beach County, 12 people who provide necessary affidavits and the necessary first-class mailings of these notices, and we actively promote our content. We are a medium whose sole purpose is to proactively keep our communities informed 24/7, and that is what public notices is supposed to be about. Based on this information and on behalf of our employees in Palm Beach County, I'm asking you to reconsider this unnecessary change that actually provide less notice to the citizens of Palm Beach County and to continue to publish these notices locally in print and online and statewide on floridapublicnotices.com, where all our public notices are housed. And we can easily link that from our website to yours as well. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. We'll have Mr. Rick Christie, followed by Mr. Richard Radcliffe.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. My name's Rick Christie, and I'm Executive Editor of the Palm Beach Post, as well as Deputy Regional Editor for the USA Today Network in Florida. You all know the important role that the press performs in our democracy. We take that role and our responsibility to keep the community informed very seriously. From people forced to isolate themselves in their homes because of COVID-19 to high school football games, to a commercial development proposed next to a tranquil neighborhood, to someone donating a life-saving kidney to a stranger. These stories and more by the Post and the Palm Beach Daily News chronicle the life of this county every day, as they have for more than 100 years. And while the digital revolution has many consumers shifting to news online, we all know Palm Beach County's demographics. As Mr. Irani was saying, we still have a huge population of print readers, many of them older folks who have consumed a large diet of local news through print for decades. We at the Palm Beach Post and Daily News hear it every day, and never more than now as seniors still weigh issues of homeowners insurance and, yes, still COVID-19. As he said, the argument that these readers will simply go online for critical information about what governments are doing just doesn't hold water, and in fact would deprive them of information. Folks in their 70s and 80s, like my parents, do not want to go digging through a government website for critical information about taxes, developments, comp plan changes, rezonings, or the like, in or near the neighborhoods or other changes in regulations, or they can't access information online. I can tell you that during the height of the pandemic, as our county seniors struggled to get vaccinated, we heard from so many who didn't have the means to even set up an appointment. In many cases, reporters and editors, including myself, helped these people secure appointments. Furthermore, government entities simply have no incentive to feature these government listings prominently on their websites. This change in policy would create a classic case of the fox guarding the henhouse when it comes to government notices. Newspapers continue to provide a third-party alternative that is widely consumed. Many tens of thousands of your constituents, like many of those people who are here this morning, rely on them. The Post and the Daily News remain the town square of news and opinions. We even regularly publish columns from lawmakers like yourselves, speaking directly to their constituents. It is the logical place for the government to share its plans with the people who pay the bills. I know there are questions from some of you about our civic and community roles, and Mr. Irani has already mentioned how we have done so many things and still do. I would correct him, though, on the Season to Share project, which awards more than $700,000. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Christie, I just have some questions that I'm trying to understand. I was reading, like, the public notices are typically for, like, if you're going to have a millage increase, a rate increase, you would publish that. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what about zoning changes?
Yes, I believe those are also public notices or legal notices, which are really kind of important. Comp plan changes, as I said, even regulatory changes that the county deems that the public needs to know about. Those are published as well. In addition to, I want to say quickly, in addition to all the stories that we write about these things that people need to be informed about.
Yeah, like school board decisions?
Oh,
too?
yeah, everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Now, I was also reading, what is the traditional process of public notices? Like, how's that entail?
Oh, how does that work? Well, I think Mr. Irani is going to have to answer that. I'm on the news and content side. That's a advertising revenue thing.
Yeah, so we have people who intake two ways. You can fill out a form online on our websites, or you can call in and schedule it. But we have to provide proof of publication by law. So we have people who are providing proof of publication, sending it back. The public also can request, and they have the rights to request first-class mailings of all these notices around them. So we do that as well on their behalf. This is not mentioned in this bill, but that's where you need people to actually still provide the proof of affidavits, the signatures, proof of publication, and the first-class mailings.
And so for the seniors, it's printed in the newspaper, is that correct?
Correct. So it's right around our content. So that's where we place the public notices, form of advertising. These same ads are published on our e-edition, so some folks are accessing through the website. But also we house all public notices on a statewide FloridaPublicNotices.com. That's just included with it, and it's already existed. The Florida Press Association had spent hundreds of thousands to have that already website done, and all these public notices are housed there. If you go that route, it will break that, so they won't be there anymore. So that's why other cities have decided to, why not linking the FloridaPublicNotices.com, the website that's already exists, to the county website, basically, and provide access to it, additional access.
Now, if a citizen, they want to, they want to follow some public notices, like is there a way for them to get emails on potential changes to that public notice?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically on FloridaPublics.com, you can subscribe to them, but they also, if they requested to receive the public notices from around them, as far as email, I have to check if we can send them, if that's an option now, but I believe within 2-mile radius, you get notified if there is a project or change in school zoning or planning and all that. So, but I can double check on that to confirm.
I guess in this case, with this new scheme that was passed by the legislature, how do you, how does like a senior, do they go on a website? Is that what they do? They go on a website to see the changes. So if the county is voting on some zoning change, they have to go on some website and it's not published at all.
Yeah, this program here, or this system, provides for a website itself. There's a page for the public notices, and that is Palm Beach County and all participating agencies. Nothing changes. The proof of publication will still need to be done. Instead of sending it out, it will be placed in the website. The law also requires that each year we do an ad in the newspaper to say that we're doing this. if there is a resident who would like to get certain publications or advertisement by mail, we have to create a registry, and they can also get it by email. So Ed, you were the legislative, is there anything else to add?
That is it.
But there is, based on the existing conditions, and Patrick is here as well, it was part of the team with the planning and zoning. The only difference, instead of sending it out to be published in the newspaper, it is actually placed on the website. And it is one place, one page where all notices in Palm Beach County will be placed. And if a resident desires to get this by email, or it also provides be mailed as well, there's an option.
So, say that again?
Each year, based on the law, okay, Ed, you want to do that since you're deep in it. Yeah. And the lawyers, yeah.
Thank you. Ed Chase, Intergovernmental Affairs. So part of the previous law remains in this law that the operator of the website or the newspaper, I think as Mr. Christie mentioned, if requested, they must keep a list of people who are requesting these items by mail or email under certain specific guidelines. So that is something that we must upkeep according to this website and have contact with them and provide those notices to them directly so they don't have to go through the searchable website. They will receive those directly either through mail or email.
How does the certification work? So in that way, like you're not sending it by certified mail, you're just putting it on this website, is that correct? That says that you've published it? No. I just want.
What is the question?
Are you talking about zoning notifications?
Zoning
No, those
notification.
come out from the engineering department. They don't come out from public, there's the public notice that goes out, but you have to mail.
Oh, you're talking about rezoning where you have to put that notice on the board?
Don't you still have to put it on the website? Is that where you now going to put it on the website? I'm just trying to.
Are you specifically referring to proof of publication?
That is separate, yeah.
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Talking about a zoning change.
You're talking about the zoning
Understand,
change.
but I want to make sure we're
trying to-
answering your question. And that is, yes, it's on the website when we utilize the post, and we put it out there. At our public hearings, you ask, do we have notice of publication? And we receive that back from the post. So
The notice
is
of
that what you're
publication
asking
is
now?
going to come from the website that the counties put it on the website now?
Well, the staff creates it. Patrick?
Yes.
Go ahead. Staff creates it here.
You need to.
Yeah. And send to the post.
And Commissioner, just as something of a reminder, on your typical zoning one, there's almost three forms really of notification that are occurring. One, that posting piece of it. Two, the letters that go out to property owners within X square feet, and it's a little bit dependent on pieces, 300, 400, 500, 600 feet in areas. And then we do a lot of courtesy noticing as well, and people who've asked in certain areas, so it's tracked. Yes, in the future, then the notices that would be there would track on and be posted on this county-maintained website. But we would still continue to do the notices, the mailing, and those other requirements. Those are our requirements. Unless the board changed that requirement, we would maintain those.
The only thing I pointed out is these are added costs that are not included in this bill. And this bill alone, if you just calculate the 40 municipalities that we serve, it's at 5,000, that's 200,000. I mean, so that's why it's less people are gonna see it. It's gonna cost the same.
Thank you. Let's see, it goes Commissioner Woodward, then Commissioner Baxter.
Yes, a couple of questions for staff.
We still have more public comment, too.
Oh, well, you brought up the pricing. I just wanted to make sure I'm understanding. The Palm Beach County, our share is a $2,000 implementation fee and then $18,000. And then anything outside, the municipalities are responsible, or the other taxing districts, the school board, they're responsible for their different line. We're
That's
only
correct.
paying 18.
That's
And
correct.
So 20 for the first year.
That's correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Does the Palm Beach Post currently require you to pay to receive these public notices electronically?
Yeah, if you are to publish public notices, yes. You
No,
pay.
I'm asking for the subscribers, the residents. Do they have to pay to receive them electronically?
Electronically, For the residents, no.
Yes.
If they go online to floridapublicnotices.com, everyone has access to this website.
I will say that my residents would disagree with that evaluation because they have tried going on and haven't been able to successfully complete the process of being able to access those without being prompted to pay $1 or something for 6 months and then a higher fee after that for any kind of notices or online verification. So I don't know how easy your process is for electronic versions, but it doesn't seem to be that easy for them. And they are the younger generation trying to find ways to do things electronically. Now, I absolutely love the idea of saving our taxpayers' dollars with a less expensive way to get these notices out, and I want to thank our legislature for making that possible. We are moving forward with a technology era. We in this board have talked about technology quite a bit recently, and I think that's amazing. It was brought to my attention that the Post has less and less subscribers every year. So I don't want people not getting these notifications. I would like to get to them and make it just a more direct and seamless process. So thank you.
Let me correct the record on something. The Post does not have less and less subscribers every year. I don't know who told you that. I don't know where you got your information, but that's incorrect. And as Mr. Irani mentioned, our reach in terms of the people who access our newspaper, website, and other platforms is larger than your website, okay, and any other website in the county. And so this really is not just about saving money, although we agree with doing that. This is about providing information, access to information that your constituents need as easy as possible. That's the only reason I'm standing up here.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Radcliffe, get ready.
Well, good morning. I guess it is afternoon. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, thank you very much for this opportunity to be entertained and entertain you. It's been a very interesting morning. It's an interesting topic. I didn't expect to have this whole take place, but it's a good discussion that we have. I think you all know the Florida Association of Counties, the Florida Association of the Cities, and the districts, School Districts Association, for probably a decade, have been going to the legislature and say, we're in a digital world. We have to change. And the cost. Originally it was a cost, but there's other issues involved. But though all those associations are in charge and have been doing this for almost a decade, we've been going up there. And it's kind of like the dog. What happens when it catches the car? Well, we got the car now, and what do we do? And I was early on, I went to Ms. Baker and said, hey, other cities are asking me, this finally happened, how are we going to do it? And I was dubious, and I know it's too bad Archie's not here, because you have the best. And I'm not just, everybody comes up here and say it. This one I can tell you, I'm involved with a lot of places, you have the best ISS people. I mean, your people are tops. I was hoping they could create something, but that would have been second best, because as I look around, it's the same, everybody's using the same thing. 67 counties, they're not all doing it, but that's the system that's working. That's the one that's going to be in the future. That's what's going to be moving on. Broward has moved forward, that's true. But in losing jobs and everything else, I think only 4 entities, and it's been up there for months, have signed on. I don't think all our entities will. All of our cities won't. Some of the smaller cities, we have half of the 39 municipalities are less than 5,000. A lot of the smaller cities, it may not be cost effective. They're still going to use the newspaper. Other ones aren't. And quite frankly, it isn't really, the school district is the one that's footing the big bill, because we only do ordinances and certain public notices and our trim notice. School districts have a lot more procedures that they have to advertise. We're looking at a substantially larger, as we looked into the money involved, I was shocked because I was asking for something like lobbying and advocating for it over the years, and I thought it was going to be a big number. In some cases it is, some cases it isn't. But the school district spends a lot more money than in general the cities do. But we're at that time in the world where it's a digital world, and hopefully we can all get together and move on. I want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. Couple of things. When this was first brought to me, Archie, I had a lot of questions about how the website looks, the technology, what's offering, and I was very excited about it because to me, it was going to give our citizens even more transparency and more access to not just what we're doing, but to any of the districts or municipalities that opt in on this. You can get an overall view of everything happening in an area. And as I understood, if people wanted to get email notifications, like that's part of the program, there's a lot for us to learn, and I'm looking forward to the training. We also will be able to make corrections. So if something were to go out, or if there needed to be a change, anything like that, that's part of it at no charge. So there's lots of levels where we can save money, which is very important. Also, talking about having this in the newspaper, people who get this have to have a subscription. And if we're talking about it needs to be in print, these are people that have to pay for a subscription. I don't like the idea of us only having something available to people who are paying a subscription. This needs to be a free service, and the website will be, as I understand it. And I can understand some of your pain. I, once upon a time, sold Yellow Pages. And unfortunately for me, it was at the end of that era. It was good while it lasted, but the fact is, technology is the way this is moving forward. And people now manage to function without Yellow Pages, and however this goes forward, technology is a good answer. We can save a lot of money, and I think we can reach a lot more people. So I do support this.
Thank you. Commissioner Bernard?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this moment, I will not be supporting this item. You know, I know, like, in the name of saving the government money, and someone would say, no one read the public notices, the newspapers are dying, or, you know, this is a newspaper subsidy. But however, we still have many of our seniors who get a printed paper, and they look at these public notices. And I believe that we should not make it harder for our Palm Beach County residents, specifically our seniors, to not be able to get these public notices. And our seniors and our residents need to continue to get that information from an independent third party, not from the county, to monitor our actions as a government and to continue to hold us accountable. So for these reasons, I will not be supporting this item. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Sachs, then Commissioner Baxter.
This is not about money. It's about getting information to our constituents, to the people. Government takes care of a lot of things. But one thing that we should always be very mindful of and respectful of is the freedom of the press. That a state that sort of monitors government, and good that they do, whether it's in digital form or print form. I am always been a believer of the freedom of the press, but we gotta have a healthy press. And I think we do in this county. We have the Palm Beach Post and the Sun Sentinel, and I think that, and I have been criticized by both over the years. And that's part of what they should do, is to monitor government. Government should never be in charge of the only means of information about government. That's sort of a tenet of democracy, that we need an informed electorate in order to have a healthy democracy. And in order to have a healthy democracy, we need a press that has the freedom and the ability to get information to our people, whether it's digital or print, doesn't make any difference. So I I do not support having a monopoly on government information by the government. I trust the government. I'm part of the government. However, in order to have a healthy democracy, we need a strong and independent press. And I think we do in this county. I think that they're extremely articulate, vocal, healthy, and I want to continue to see them be able to stay in that manner so that information that's disseminated to the people comes from an independent press and not just from the government. So I am a proponent of keeping our press independent. And if we want to go ahead and do these notices, we should. But we've got to be able to know. We must keep our notices and those legal notices active in an independent press. So I would not be supporting this at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Baxter, and then Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, guys. Would voting on this today prevent the Post from still publishing the information in the Post for their readers? They could still choose to do it, right?
So on that note, the legislation's a bit ambiguous. On the one hand, it says that you have to choose posting in the newspaper or through this mechanism. The or suggests that it's one of them. However, for public notice purposes, we would be covered if someone were to sue if both were used, because the notices are being provided in an extra manner where it's extra notice for everyone. Now, in the legislation itself, it does require us to compare the cost of the newspaper versus the cost of using this mechanism, and that suggests that it's an either or as well. So with all that said, I would take the position that it would be an or, not an and, but it is open to interpretation.
I'm not saying us as the and. I'm saying they could still choose at their own cost or own. They get to choose what they put in their paper, is my point. So if they felt it was important to keep their readers informed, they could choose to do that without us funding them to do it, is what I'm asking.
Oh, okay, then that's a different question than the legal question that I was answering. So yes, I believe so, but I'll defer to Dorrit.
And also, Commissioner, is that it's not mandatory, it's optional. So, and the legislature, it states that in order for anyone in the county to do so, that the Palm Beach County has to do it. So, you could have it, in place, and you may opt not to participate. But if we say not at all, then nobody in the county will be able to do that. That's tricky.
Well, I would hope they would still want to keep, regardless, not the taxpayers funding this, that they would want to keep them informed. But also, it brought up another important point. I would like to, and potentially do a cost analysis of providing our seniors an option of this new website, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say they're not comfortable with that. Some sort of option to receive maybe some a letter, a note if they wanted to receive that just via mail.
Or an email or whatever.
Some sort of option. I don't know what that looks like, but I'd love to see kind of what that would be to offer them that option, because I am aware that some of them prefer paper in hand.
Okay.
Commissioner Woodward, you're recognized.
Yes, coming back to your either or question, I had that down. So as I understood it, the law, the HB, 7049, has that allows us to do this, but we also have the option that we could, if we chose, to continue to post in the Post. So just because we do pass this and put it into place does not mean that as soon as that goes into effect, tomorrow, no more Post, right?
Not at all, not at all. And in the discussion we've had, Administrator Baker, you want to speak up and say that we may have to do dual? Go ahead.
Of course, we never switch, when we're transitioning, we never switch one avenue off before we make sure the new one is working. So there are other options, and it could add up. more so than taking out one ad in the paper, depending on how many people still want us to send them the notices through the mail, depending on, like, for your zoning, sometimes it's voluminous. But that information can be available on the website, but they can also request that we mail it. There's also another option that would, if they decide they wanted certified mail, they would be able to send that to us and we could send it certified mail. All of that is costly. That's in addition to what we're doing. But that is something that we don't know what that figure is. And I think it was Dorrit that made this, Ms. Miller made the statement that in order for any of the county special districts, other council, the county would have to put it up, even if we did not participate. And so that's what this is doing today. Does it save us dollars if we went this way? Yes. But, you know, it's up to the board if we want to do it this way. My only hesitation is, you know, people get confused. They won't know if we're balanced, you know, going back and forward. So once we get it up and ready and the board wants us to do it electronically, we can still mail, definitely, but I don't think we should go back and forth. We should make a decision and do it one way or the other.
Okay, so if I may, I hear that we have some, you know, debate here back and forth. Seeing as that we can do both for a while, it looks like we maybe would not have cost savings as much this year. But I don't think it's a good idea for us not to move forward with this, to put it into place at least, because we don't know. And this website, and I did ask, like, can we get metrics? Will we be able to see how many hits come to this website? Where are they coming from? We'll get statistics or analytics from the website to let us know how successful we're being. So we can continue with how it's been forever. I'm certainly not saying we stop this tomorrow, but not putting this into place and at least beginning the process to move forward with technology, I think would be a mistake, because the way things are going, it's going to get used, and we will be able to come back after a certain amount of time and look and see how successful it's being while we continue to post in the post, and we can look at what's happening here. But not moving forward at all with this, I think, would be a mistake.
Right. I just want to reiterate what Ms. Miller said, which is the cities, nobody else in the county has the option of moving forward unless we put this in place. And simply based on that, I can't not support this because we need to have that. If I was in our county, I'd want my county to give me that option if that's what those municipalities or special districts wanted to avail themselves of. I think the idea of technology, things are changing. However, I also understand, I do have a digital subscription to the Palm Beach Post. I had a print subscription for many years, but I've gotten used to now not getting the paper delivered. Because quite frankly, there were many days I didn't get my paper. And then when I did get it, the day was already gone. I was out of the house. And I know they bifurcated their delivery system from the newspaper itself. And so, but I continued to call in. But I think it's important that we create this option for the other governments in our county. That's up to them to decide. And as was stated earlier, by implementing this does not mean that we are going to move our advertisements from being in the newspaper or available online in the newspaper as I receive it. But it's something I do support to make sure that everybody else in this county has that option. We get to make the decision, but if we say no, then nobody gets it. If we say yes, then everybody has the option to make that decision for their own body. So, all right. Commissioner Baxter, then Commissioner Bernard.
Are we finished with public comment, Mayor?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes.
So I would like to make the motion to approve 5B1.
We have a motion by Commissioner Baxter to approve 5B1. We We have a second by Commissioner Woodward. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I still disagree with proceeding with this item because I believe that if those other entities, those other governmental bodies, if they wanted to have their own website to manage it, then they should have done it in Tallahassee and not put it on the burden of the county. So I just think that we shouldn't be the ones who are making this decision for the League of Cities or these other entities. So that's my opinion, and I just believe that our seniors who get the paper should get that opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome, sir. Vice Mayor Sachs, you're recognized.
I love the paper. I have it delivered every day in print. And I enjoy reading it with a cup of coffee. And it is delivered every day to my house, Mayor Weiss. But I will say this. When Barack Obama was president, he wanted to ensure that every citizen in our country had access to the internet like they do at Starbucks. Until I know that every citizen in Palm Beach County has access to the internet, then I cannot support having information, public information, delivered via the internet only to those who have that access. Either they don't have the money or they're not in a place that is being offered. We have a large county geographically, and I believe in the press. I believe in the papers. I believe in our reporters. And I believe that until we know every citizen has access to the internet in this county, that we should not limit information to them. So for that reason, I cannot support this.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Barnett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is there a way we can find out just how many of our senior citizens have access to the internet to be able to visit a website such as what's being proposed?
No.
Is there a way to determine whether or not more senior citizens have access to the Palm Beach Post or the Sun Sentinel than to the websites, to the internet? Are we not giving our seniors enough credit for being internet savvy or being able to look up a website on their phones or on their laptops or their iPads? I know a lot of seniors who do have iPads. I don't think we should postpone the vote to ask to find this out, but I was wondering if there is any information that you have, that the staff has, or if the Palm Beach Post has it. I'd love to hear it before I cast my vote and make my decision.
He can't. How can he answer that question?
I just want to be clear on one thing. All the public notices are currently available on a website statewide, floridapublicnotices.com. The technology already exists. You can subscribe by email. You can look at it for free without being a subscriber. You can access it right now on your phone. So the technology already exists. So everyone who's posting public notices in the newspaper, automatically they're being fed into floridapublicnotices.com website. It already exists. As far as getting the research data specifically to seniors, really, I mean, I can go back and find out exactly how many of our subscribers are seniors or not, but the question that poses itself is not about that. It's about being a passive website where they have to go out and seek it. Just this week alone, we published public notices about increase in taxes in Westlake and different cities and change in zoning, school zones. If you're not reading the paper, you're not going to see these notices. You're not going to passively go out and try to seek them. That's, I think, the bigger, like the reach, and already that the technology already exists out there, that we can easily link it from your website, that every citizen will have access to it.
Thank you, sir. All right. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
So that motion passes 4-2. All right, moving on. Item 5C1. This is moving forward on declaring some land. Do we need a presentation on this item? No. Anyone need it?
I do have, Mr. Mayor, I don't have a question. I do have a question. Like on items, is it which one? 5C1B.
A and B.
A and B. since this property is really close to Century Village.
Yes.
And this is, I believe, is this in your district, Mr.?
Yes, it is.
And my thinking is that I would like for staff or your office to see if we can explore if it's going to be in affordable housing, how can we do an RFP that allows it to be somewhat of a senior affordable housing? And also, I know around the county we are building a lot of CLFs and that are really expensive for some of our residents. And I would like to see if there's any way that there could be a potential to see if someone would want to do somewhat of an affordable CLF or a combination. So in that way, we're providing this to our residents, Mr. Mayor. This is in your district, so I don't want to, but I believe that you're close to Century Village, that we can do something.
Just to, does anyone need a presentation on this?
No.
Okay. So just to share with you and the rest of the board, so this item was originally going to be on the agenda at the previous meeting, and I had asked to have it pulled because I wanted to ensure I had an opportunity to speak to Century Village. So we had a meeting last week with the United Civic Organization. If you know anything about Century Village has over 300 HOAs. Virtually almost every building in Century Village is its own HOA. There is no such thing as a master association that predates when, you know, how we now govern these types of developments. So the closest thing they have is what's called the United Civic Organization, which doesn't have direct jurisdiction over the HOAs. However, they provide really good representation. So I brought this to their attention. This is obviously this is required under the Live Local Act that we declare any properties that don't have a specific defined purpose. Doesn't mean we have to make them available. It just means we have to declare it to the state. But talk to them about conditions or how this land could potentially be developed. Talk to staff about that, including, you know, we could say in the RFP that we want a percentage or the entire project to be senior housing. There is a real big concern regarding access. There, if you know where this property is located, it sits off of Okeechobee Boulevard, but there's a perimeter road that runs on the inside, and that perimeter road is owned by each of the property owners. So where we have our library, we own that portion of the roadway, and there are commercial entities there. Sometimes that road falls apart. But it also connects up to what's called West Drive, which goes directly into Century Village through their gate. They share that. There's a bank. There's Found Care on the other side. There's a lot of congestion there. And to add additional housing there, well, I think we all agree is a needed thing. Having them access that perimeter road and out to West Drive would be something that would be untenable, that intersection couldn't handle it, so that we put a requirement in if we do issue an RFP, that we put a requirement in that access is not through that perimeter road, is not through access on West Drive. Century Village themselves even asked about whether they may want to bid on it and bring it into their community, because they have all the amenities there, they have the clubhouses, they have all those things. So that's something, and I think that's something that they're interested, at least in having a discussion about. But I appreciate your comments, Commissioner, and concerns. But once I saw this on the agenda, it was immediately reach out to Century Village and make sure that they're involved. Talk to staff that as we go through this process, that if we do issue an RFP, that they will have a seat at the table in talking about their concerns on how and what gets developed there. So, but that's something, and ultimately, if any RFP is issued and it comes back to us. And if we don't like it, we kill it, and we tell them to go back and maybe do something else or do it differently. So, but I can assure you that I will, as long as I'm sitting here, I will do everything in my power to protect the interests of our residents that live in Century Village and those on nearby as well. So, Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. And just asking for your opinion more than anything. So I know that a lot of people will reach a point where they need assisted living services. And I kind of wanted to get your thought on potentially having that there as well, because maybe once they get to that point, they could be a great accessory to Century Village.
That's certainly something possible. I will tell you that we do have other assisted living facilities nearby. People recognize the market, I guess, if you will, and that there are some really fine facilities in the general vicinity. But that, I mean, as we know, assisted living or CLFs are also considered residential. The one issue we have found, and not to drag this out, is I once wanted to see if we could do assisted living for lower income people. The problem with it is because it's not, people have assets rather than income. So you could have $1 million in the bank, and yet you're only, pulling in your Social Security, your $800 a month or whatever you're getting, and so on. It looks like you're low income, but in fact, you have the means. So it was one of the challenges, because I asked one of our providers if they could do something like that, and that's what they came back with.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to weigh in, and I know that if you go that route in terms of seeing if there's a possibility to do an assisted living facility and to make it a little bit more affordable, then potentially partnering up with potentially one of the housing authorities, like the West Palm Beach Housing Authority, Palm Beach County Housing Authority, could provide a way for them to provide some type of potentially project-based voucher on those specific beds. So in that way, that we can make, if it's let's say it's 10 units, but those are 10 potential residents that can be a little bit more affordable. So it's just, I just would like for us to just explore it and see if that would work.
That's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that, Commissioner. Great. Lots of good ideas. We have a lot of good ideas. All right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 5C1A and B.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard to approve items 5C, 1A, and B, and a second by the Vice Mayor. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed, this motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. All right. Moving on. We are now to Commission District appointments, and let's start with Commissioner Baxter this afternoon.
No appointments at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Bernard?
None, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Sachs?
Yes, I do, Mayor. On behalf of District 5, I'd like to appoint Erica Castle for the Board of Discover Palm Beach County.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, Commissioner Woodward.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to appoint Emily Snyder to the Discover the Palm Beaches Board. I would also like to reappoint Doug Mosley to the Palm Beach County Sports Commission and reappoint Pamela Dubin to the Advisory Commission on Women, and also reappoint Alex Price to the Florida Atlantic Research and Development Authority.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to request permission for the appointment of Alice McLean to the Citizens Committee on Airport Noise, the reappointment of Sarah Mooney to the Palm Beach Sports Commission, the reappointment of Amy Kelly to the Advisory Commission on Women, and the appointment of Unia D'Amico-Nadler to the Fair Housing Equal Employment Board. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I am reappointing Virginia Savietto to the Library Advisory Board. Okay. Moving on, administration comments. we need a motion to receive and file.
So moved, Mr.
We have
Mayor.
a motion by Commissioner Bernard, a second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 6-0. Okay, County Attorney. Nothing. All right, we're moving over to Commissioner comments. And we will start, well, let's start with Commissioner Barnett at this end. Nothing? Okay, thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
Yes, first, I would like to request an off-site proclamation to honor the 50th anniversary of Talking Books section at Palm Beach County Libraries.
We have a motion by Commissioner Woodward. We have a second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 6-0.
Second, I didn't speak on it earlier. Emotions were running high. It was quite tense. I would just like to go on record saying, for myself, thank you to staff and to everyone who had a part in the conversation earlier with the memorials. Having my own staff member be somewhat interrogated by deputy sheriffs, kind of, it awakened all of us, and having her name brought up several times. I would just like to say thank you for the support that she received. Our staff takes a lot of phone calls. Most of what we do in this job is constituent work. And no matter how much I tried to convince the family that constituent work is why we're here, and my own staff having to, take these phone calls, and I wanted to encourage them that she did the right thing. She followed her job. We have policies and procedures. Everyone on staff did this. It was a mistake that was made. Our right-of-way and canal right-of-way, I mean, if you go stand there, it's hard to know the difference. And I truly believe it was just an honest mistake. And I spoke to the family, and I know several of us have spoken to the families. I believe we handled that as best as we could. And I would just like to say for my staff, and I know we passed it over to District 5 just because of the location, because that's what you do. When you check the map and it fell out of my district, because the turnpike, I ended the turnpike, that's where you pick up. And I know that your staff member did the right thing too, and they did what we need them to. And I don't want them to ever think that answering that phone call is going to get them into so much trouble and not following through with a constituent request, because that is why we're here. And I just wanted to thank you also for, I know you stood by your staff member, and we had all of us, the county engineering department, everyone answered every question, and we didn't just leave them out to dry for doing their jobs. And this was a mistake that was made, and I'm sorry you got drug into this, because my office got the initial phone call. You just never know what that's gonna answer, when you take it. But it's our job, and that's our staff's job, is to answer the phone and to respond to our constituents. So thank you for what you did, and thank you, Mayor, for allowing this discussion today, even though it was quite uncomfortable for parts of it, and for correcting the record and for what happened. And on a happier note, congratulations to Coco Gauff for winning the U.S. Open. So I've spoken with Commissioner Bernard. He has most of Delray. I shared Delray with him, and hopefully he will have some news, but we'd like to maybe get to bring her here and celebrate her wins. So that's all I have to say for now.
Thank you, Commissioner. Administrator Baker, you recognize.
I failed to say thank you to the board for your support and working through this issue. We were there, investigation did occur. The sheriff's office and did the investigation, 2 detectives, and I sat through with our staff. We realized that we removed it from Lake Worth jurisdiction. We shouldn't have, and we admitted that right up front. So again, I'd like to thank the board for the support of staff, because we're all human, and periodically we make a mistake. We'll try to keep it to a minimum. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. We'll go to Commissioner Bernard, and then we'll move to Commissioner Baxter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I look forward to us bringing Coco Gauff and her family to the commission. We're working it out. We want to congratulate her and her family. I believe that she lives in your district, Commissioner Sachs. So she is a product of Palm Beach County, and her grandmother was in the paper this weekend, and for all the A's that I received in school, it's because of her. So she was my teacher in my young days. So just want to congratulate the Gauff family. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to also thank staff as well. Amazing. No one's perfect, and it just came down to we owned up to it as quickly as possibly. We corrected it as quickly as possibly. I'd like to thank the administrator and staff and everyone involved with making that happen, and the mayor for letting them be heard, even if it was uncomfortable, because I think it is our job to even listen to things that we don't want to hear, and just hope they find some closure and can move on.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, today was a good lesson in how our county, under the leadership of Ms. Baker, sticks together. I have always said, and I've been in public service for a number of years, that that county staff sticks together. And thousands of phone calls come through. This one was particularly upsetting because, according to what I heard from staff of two commissioners, myself included, she was hysterical and very difficult to deal with. But our staff took the calls and did what they were supposed to do according to policy. And even if we see the uncomfortable nature of two detectives come in and, in a very professional way, interrogate under oath a staff member, we, as their county commissioners, stick by them because we know that Ms. Baker is in our leadership and will protect all of us, and that they will never be afraid, our staff must never be afraid, or have any fear of taking a call, no matter who it's from or what it's about, because that's what we're about, is taking care of people. And I also want to personally thank Commissioner Baxter for sticking up for another mother, and all my colleagues, and thank you, Commissioner Woodward, for speaking up as well, because we are county, we're family, and we stick together, and this is what we do. And I feel like today we're a little stronger than we were before today. And our staff members know that we stick with them just like a family. And even though uncomfortable, we feel a little stronger, a little closer today than before. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Okay, real quickly, don't forget, we're going to be going downstairs right after the meeting to take our picture, after our recess, so we can take our pictures in front of the bus. The Hispanic Cultural Heritage Bus Tour is going to be held on 9/15. I want to thank Virginia from my office, who worked with James Green and Community Services to put this bus tour together. I want to thank Palmtran, who wrapped the bus, and the design team, and Clinton Forbes, Channel 20, who is recording, ESS for sound and technology. Children's Services Council has added a second bus. Apparently this has gotten so popular, so we're going to have two buses running now. And then all the hosting sites, Caridad Center, Dr. Joaquin Garcia High School, Okeechobee Middle School, Norton Museum, the Historical Society, the Symphony. It's a huge production, so many people to thank, and really appreciate the community coming together. A couple of other points. I want to thank the Center for Future of the Mind at Florida Atlantic University. They hosted me down there last Friday, brought together people from across the campus that are working on artificial intelligence. Boy, you talk about some really bright people with some amazing ideas. It was just awesome, and there's some great work going on at FAU. And if that's any indication, there's got to be great work going on all across this country. I also want to thank Mayor Keith James from the city of West Palm Beach. He hosted a roundtable on mental health last week. I think a lot of good conversation came out of it, and look forward to working with all of our partners to move forward and assist people in mental health needs. And then lastly, I want to everybody who is Jewish and is celebrating the holidays beginning this weekend, wish everybody a sweet New Year, and wish them all. Well, we'll get to Yom Kippur. We'll get to that later. But so a Happy New Year to those who observe. And with that, I don't see anything else. We will have a recess, and we will be back at 2 o'clock for matters by the public.